Hello everybody, welcome to the John Dungeon Master channel, where I can't keep my opening straight and a consistent stream schedule. I will be your lovely Dungeon Master today. My name is John, and you guys are my victims, also known as my facilitators, also known as my players. One of us, goes by the name of Rube, maybe Snefru, has been promoted to a clown. Because he's in clown college for this week. And that's what I'm going with. So don't contradict me. Guys, it's been, what, 2 weeks? 1 week and a half? 3 weeks?
Something like that.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Henrietta, it feels like it's been a month. Where have you been? What have you been up to?
Lots of things. I was on vacation. And then I don't remember what else happened in my life. I might be getting a third cat.
Ooh.
We'll probably meet her next week if all things work out.
Exciting.
That's cool. That's cool.
Yeah, I don't know. Nothing. Summer is finally coming to a goddamn end.
Oh, true. Oh, I can't wait for summer to be over, guys. I'm not gonna lie. But a summer enjoyer by the name of Nick, also known as Corin, also known as Ursale, is here with us. Nick, I've made an accusation. Do you love summer?
No. The only proper season is winter. Sorry.
Only winter every day? How have you
Summer's
been,
too
Nick?
hot. Spring and fall are allergies. I'm doing all right, John. We got a big release for our software coming up at work, so I've been putting in a little extra hours on that, and been getting TPK'd by Greg with you. You know, that was fun.
Ah, we love
Apologies.
getting TPK'd. Okay. Speaking of Greg, you're next on my
Yes, sir.
lineup. How have you been?
Woo! My week's been pretty good for the most part. I'm a little under the weather right now. I got the chills and like some stomach stuff, and I don't know. But I'm doing good. I'm excited to be here.
I'm glad to hear it. I hope you're riding the high of killing me.
You know, it's never my goal to kill players, but I do think that perhaps it will invigorate the community to be a little more cautious with their
True.
exploration of the mist.
I concur. They better start being. My life is a cautionary tale, Red, but your life is just beginning, along with the story of Dyson. How are you doing this week, Red?
I'm doing pretty good. It's just been a normal week for me. Nothing extraordinarily happening.
Nothing.
Very peaceful.
Peaceful? Look at this guy living in a peaceful world. How can I get
I
a
live in
ticket
Nebraska,
to where
man.
you are? What's going? Alrighty, guys.
Nothing happening.
We have a tradition here on the channel of John Dungeon Master, where if somebody misses a session, they must recap the previous one. Now, I missed last week's session because I wasn't here. However, one of us beat me to it the week prior. Does anyone remember who that was?
Not me.
It wasn't you? Are you sure?
No.
I think they weren't here, so they wouldn't
I was
remember.
here.
I'm pretty sure it was Red, actually.
Oh,
Red wasn't
it was
here?
me.
We know who it is, Henrietta. Did you watch the VOD?
I watched most. Not able to finish all of it, because I also had homework to do, so I had to
That's fair.
stop. But I finished my homework.
Ooh.
Isn't that more important than the VOD, everyone?
No, it's
No.
not.
Most definitely, doing your homework is important. Stay in school, kids.
All right. Well,
stay
what
in
can you
school.
tell us about what happened last week?
We left the fun city. With the Necroprancer staying behind, but Scary Snake Man following behind us? Question mark? It seemed. There was a boar fight. That was the most important thing to happen of those series of events, in my opinion, because I thought that was really funny. Really sad. Yancey was not there to make some really good boar jokes. We arrived back in the one place with the one person and our aunt, and found out that our political refugee was attacked, and we absconded him away back towards Livistio, where we met some pirates, I think, on the river, but they were mediocre, so they weren't really that important. And then we got back to Livistio, and things might have happened between those two series of events, but that's not important.
I'm
gonna
say those pirates were yours, Ariana. They're your pirates.
They are our
Were
pirates.
they?
Those are our pirates.
I distinctly remember the conversation being like they're kind of sad because they're not good enough to be sea pirates.
True.
That's the main part of that conversation that I came away with, is that they were just not very impressive. If they work for us, that's even worse. But part of the course, I think of the type of help we've been getting so
You're
far.
just throwing shade at your own guys. Jesus Christ. Does anybody
I mean,
else
I'm one of those guys. You know, I'm aware of how good we are.
All right.
Or lack thereof. We got back to the capital. I stopped after there was a conversation between Bear Daddy and Bear Boy. That seemed unproductive. There was some Macho Man stuff going on. I wasn't paying attention to that.
Macho Man
Gilly
stuff.
almost got put in timeout again. And I ended it. I had to stop watching while we were talking to the king. And the king was specifically like, stop fucking doing this. And we're like, too bad. Be better at your job or something. At least that's what Yancey would have said if Yancey was there.
I mean, that is the vibe.
Yeah. Something else happened that I had a really good joke for, but now I've forgotten it, so it must not have been that important.
Unfortunate.
Really unfortunate for you guys to not be able to hear that joke. It was
is.
pretty stellar, if I do say so myself.
It'll
What was
come
the
back.
joke?
I promise.
It'll come back to me. I'll remember it later. Yeah, I'll
Good.
remember it later.
Very good. Very good. I think that was a solid
yeah, that
enough
was it.
recap. Guys! Did anything else happen, potentially in the final moments of that session?
Which I did not see.
Somehow I think we got through that entire recap without actually saying that someone tried to kill the king.
Yep.
That's it.
Someone tried to kill the king?
Uh-huh.
Yeah, the assassination attempt was attempted.
Oh!
was the very
I
end
do
of the
remember
session.
this now. It was the conversation. They were like, Gilly was like, "What the fuck happened?" And the king is like, "Everything you said would happen." And I was like, "What?" Like, yeah, someone tried to kill me.
He also
and then something else. was
talked
said.
some mad shit about how protected he was and like let them try, and then like got roughed up and had to have himself saved by a table thrower, right? Like I don't know.
That's
I
amazing.
feel like he
Yeah.
had some
Smiling
unearned,
Sam was there for some reason. I remember.
When isn't Smiling Sam there?
The king said something about Yancey having to do work, which is a bad idea. I don't know what work it was, but it's probably a bad idea.
I'm
really good
sure.
at this recap stuff, you guys. You can tell that I clearly was not also trying to read a book at the same time. You know what I
you
can
got
do?
all
I
the
can
high marks,
multitask.
I feel. As my OBS crashes? Question mark. Uh-oh.
Oh no.
I can read a dense textbook and listen to D&D.
I mean, that's impressive amounts of like what do you call it when you do two things at once? Multitasking.
We
I
love
can't do that very
multitasking.
easily.
Error, YouTube is not responding.
Technically, you're not actually multitasking. You're just switching your brain between two subjects fast enough that it feels like you're doing them both at the same time. But multitasking in itself does not actually exist.
Fair and based.
Okay, there we go. I had a weird internet burp. No big deal. I'm sure it's been happening all
No one got to
throughout our
hear my
campaign.
multitasking information.
I heard
Oh.
everything.
How dare you?
Deprived of your jokes and your knowledge.
Guys, we're moving on! The recap is officially over. And
But it
now,
was funny.
I believe you. It is currently the 9th of April. Spring has hit and been around, but no declaration of war has come yet. Maybe it was already given as per the assassination attempt, or maybe it just never needed to be declared. There is a what do you call it? Maybe an aura, a mood shift that everyone is currently feeling. The citizenry doesn't feel it, but in the keep, in the castle of Livistio, the servants seem a little bit sullen. Without the queen running around constantly at full sprint, it's just not as lively here in the castle. The local stableman, the master of horse, is probably the only true light in this dark universe. A man you've never once interacted with, but also the kindest person in the
We
world.
interacted with him to get our first horses.
Oh. Yes. He never truly recovered or got over the death of a pony, Criselda.
I'm sorry. What happened to the queen? Did I miss that?
Oh, she
She's
was
dead.
sent off. She is not dead.
No. She-
Both the queen and Glynis's sister got sent off to be more safe.
They got sent
She's
to
staying with
Zwan.
her parents in Zwan while the fight
That is the
going
safest
on.
place. That's correct. Okay.
Indeed. Unless something happens on the road, in which case.
I mean, like, Zwan sounds pretty safe, but it is also the closest place to the demons, right?
Sure.
What's a demon gonna do? Assassinate you? Come on.
I am going to
Not if you
have
have
a table
the
handy.
party gather together as the days of spring continue onward. Yancey, your limbs, oh, they hurt so badly. It feels like your arms have been extended outward by the shoulder for days now.
So long.
You're not
Gotta
getting
find
killed
out
off
who's
of that.
casting power word T-pose on us. It's really becoming a problem.
I haven't been this sore since my last year of Bard
Clown
school.
college?
Junior year of Bard College. It's wild ride.
It really gets you. It really gets you. It's an endurance test to how many parties you can withstand.
Yep. Yep.
It's every day.
As
You really got to do a lot of
Everyday work.
stretching to make it through junior year.
shower plummets upon the stone roof of this castle. You four, plus Snefru, who now has the T-posing disease, you speak with one another in a candle or fireplace-lit room. Or in the dark, if you have dark vision and want to be cringe. It's up to you.
I don't have
Well, I
dark
mean,
vision, guys.
canonically, we gather in the pantry, so we're in a dimly lit pantry,
Dimly
snacking on presumably the last remaining bits of cheese. While
It's
we
gone.
discuss.
It's all gone.
Oh, Dysum is.
It's unbelievable.
Not
I-
Dysum.
You've decimated the cheese population of this larder. Like, this was a genocide. I don't know how you could do this.
Look,
Cheese aside.
it was so Gouda. And you'll all have to live with that pun now.
Yancey writes it down.
Well, you cheddar not do it again.
Not as good. Sorry, you're Sally.
Oh, Bear Daddy denied.
I'm having considerations. You guys are in a pantry.
We're in a pantry.
You are in a pantry, stuffing the last bit of cheese maybe even pastrami into your faces, as you speak about what comes next for the party, as well as where you fit in. Now that war might be coming? Question mark?
This is actually a little awkward, isn't it? We've lost our like spy to go in the back lines. We've lost our bannerman to declare war, and we've lost our like champion to, you know, do war. We got to do a lot of like, you know, supervising, I guess, of our soldiers.
You must restructure.
We're gonna Tom Sawyer
yourself.
the shit out of this war.
I mean, if you would like me to write a letter to someone, I can do that, but that's as far as my war skills go.
Yeah.
I've got letter writing. I have really good handwriting. I spray it with perfume. It's great. I'm really good at letters.
I might not be able to rally the troops with my words, but I can rally like 3 dudes with magic.
Hey man, 3 dudes is important. That might turn the tide of battle. You never know. I mean, we have like 500 of them in like shitty boats gonna suicide into like the Njord army. So 3 more dudes, who knows? Maybe that'll do it.
How many of them can I teach a shatter really quickly? That worked wonders, gotta say.
I guess I don't know to discuss future plans. My future plan is we have like not personal army, but we have a fighting force that is essentially like under my purview. That when war comes, I assume we're going to direct in some way to assist in the war effort. We have scouts that are gonna tell us what's happening. You know, we have pirates that are like ready to slow down the coming force. I feel like our wartime preparations are ready. I don't know what roles to give, I suppose, if you desire them in the coming conflict. I guess Glynis would, instead of assigning roles, probably gather the party, and if this is the topic, ask, right? It's like, this war is coming. I've done all these things. Look at all these things that I've done, says Brandon Flowers. And Glynis says, like, what a role would you desire to play in the coming conflict, right? Like, what are your skills? How may I best use you? What do you see yourselves doing? And if that's chilling in the castle, snacking on cheese, waiting for me to finish, or die, or both, then that's chillin'. Being chillin', says Glynis. He's turned into a Zoomer recently, and also maybe Brandon Flowers.
I see you finally read the slang book that I gave you.
I did, yes. I've been studying the lingo. I've been getting my lingo up.
So yeah, that way you can relate really well to the soldiers when you talk to them.
Yeah. I will get them crazy.
Hyped.
Generation Zoom.
There you go.
Huh?
You're gonna max that vibe, all right?
I am maxing soldier vibes, yes.
Glynis Marchette has asked his party a question. Where do you see yourselves in the coming war? I wish Sneffer was here, because he would actually be able to compete with you on this. Well, all 3 of you, really. Guys, army is comprised of several things, mostly people, and I'm not sure all of you are the leadership type. Now, an army can have one singular leader to be truly cohesive. After all, having an army with 2 heads giving 2 separate directions at the same authority level has only given one man incredible fame by the name of Hannibal Barca, who just kind of casually stomped on the Romans for 20 years because their organizational structure was shit. I assume Glynis will be the leader in the coming battles where you will be fighting in abstracted formations, but I suppose that doesn't have to be the case. If one of you wishes to be more of a stratego, say, person who gives commands that others follow out, but doesn't engage in combat directly. There's also roles such as the champion, or just being a general spellcaster, because, you know, you've seen what Shatter can do to a ship. Imagine, like, a tightly packed formation of spearmen. That's, you know, when you don't have a place to dodge to because you're surrounded by 9 other people, you're going to get pretty devastated quickly. So, team, who wishes to be in the back, yelling at orders, or leading a charge? No one. No one wants to be a leader.
Gilly, I don't know what to do in this situation.
I
have never studied war unless it was an artistic context in which it was romanticized, and someone like falls in love, and maybe someone dies, but it's like, you know, kind of pretty. So wherever you go, I will go, and I will do my best to help you.
I suppose
that is
your stunning charisma and you know, just force of personality are likely necessary to some extent to liaise. We do have allies that are hidden amongst our enemy forces. Perhaps that might be the role best suited for one of your talents to what's the word I'm looking for? I don't know. To make sure we're on the same page as they are, and keep our allies apprised and ourselves apprised of what they might be up to. How we can best, I don't know, make sure that they don't get murdered and are around to help us when it's time to crush the hammer. Perhaps even like your stunning handwriting and perfumed letters might be able to give us battlefield orders as necessary, right? Like you're the wartime like coded messages. You're our radio person, making sure everybody gets their orders. I don't know. That seems like something that suits you, but also keeps you far away from the blood and guts and swords and whatnot.
I mean, sure. I just wouldn't.
Mechanically, I am uncertain how this is going to go down.
Same.
So I don't really want to be like, you guys do X, Y, and Z, and then like that's not how this is going to go down. So I don't know. Like from a large abstract, Glynis sees this as like he's going to lead his not mercenary band, but I guess more akin to like semi-personal army, and Bear Daddy is going to Bear Daddy all over people, right? Like it's like my favorite part of the movie when he said it's Bear Daddy time, and he just proceeded to Bear Daddy all over them. Like that's his role. I assume that we will need strategic magic from time to time. We have a wizard who is specialized in the domain of war. I assume I would like to keep my T-posing wizard close for, artillery, so to speak. And Daizum, despite his tentacly ways, has shown a proficiency with healing and keeping people, alive. I could see him providing that support for, in some way, right? Healing the wounded, topping people's heroism up to make sure that they're not breaking ranks. Yeah. I could see lots of uses for a bard, right? Similarly to keep people chilling, or like I said, to be our radio person to keep everybody coordinated / liaise with our erstwhile allies. But without mechanically knowing how we're gonna roleplay / engage in this fight, it's hard to give a specific commandment, right? I need you to be here and do this XYZ. But I think given those just kind of general outlines, I think from an abstract point of view, Glynis obviously, and inside the fiction, our characters probably know more. But that's the tone, I think, of Glynis's proposals, unless there's something that you would like to perform instead, right? And also, like, conscientious observer would like to chill in the castle and eat cheese is like a legitimate option.
Yancey's like crying into a cup of wine. Just...
Meeting soldiers can't be that difficult.
I'm sorry, did you just say eating soldiers can't be that difficult?
Oh,
Handies and eating soldiers, Craig. That's what Dizem's about.
Okay.
Not leading, but eating them. Yes, so there are multiple roles that will be available to the party. And I suppose a rallier, or a person to ensure that the morale doesn't absolutely shatter, or just confuse your own men to the point where they're like, I guess we're just going to fight, is probably the one that Yancey will be heading towards. A bugler, some might even call them, or a signaler. However, I want to focus on Ursale, because I feel like he, and maybe Glynis here, will find interest in this combat role that John has prepared for you guys. This role, well, and Felix, R.I.P. Felix, you who
Felix.
inspired us, without me just releasing the special Word document just yet, because where's my mouse cursor? Thank you. One of the main roles, or a activity that happens before a battle, is champions from opposing side, or people who are confident enough to step up, literally call out people to throw down with. Almost like a show, but also to the death. It is very much where the heroic fantasy and trope of, say, Achilles versus Hector come in from the Iliad. Ursale,
I 100% think Ursale is destined to be our Hector of Troy.
Indeed. I am of the same mind, and by the head nods that Ursale's giving, I assume he is of a similar mind. Big thumbs up.
That sounds good to me. Never done this war thing, but I'd be happy to knock some heads to the ground.
By killing a
really
enemy champion, you negate the bonus that their presence gives to their fellow man, and also take them out of the fight. Sometimes it could be incredibly devastating to morale if they are famous, known, or beloved. Other times, it is how a individual makes their name, of literally, like, I am a guy from a peasant village, but man, do I got a mean right hook. I'm gonna just call out someone and David v. Goliath him. That's kind of where heroic legends come from. Nothing stops a leader of an army from doing this role himself. It is incredibly risky, but doubly inspiring. If your leader, the guy literally leading you into combat, is like, yeah, and, who's it from the other army? Come get some right now. And they stand out in the open, arms bare, anteater style.
I feel like that's like an aspiration of Glynis. Like, Glynis one day will desire to be the badass that's like, oh, come get some. He sees himself wielding his grandfather's blade and like his grandfather's armor, being like, okay, come get some. But as of now, he's pragmatic enough to know, like, he might not be the best fighter.
Yeah, sometimes Gilly makes inspirational speeches in his sleep. They're really good.
That's where you get your inspiration from. You're like,
Say that again, Gilly. Say it again. Shh. Sleep.
Okay. Spellcasters in general, I have abstracted greatly, because it's hard to quantify the amount a warlock could do versus a cleric, or a sorcerer versus a wizard. But when we get to the abstraction, you spellcasters will have a role to play, I promise you. Specifically of obtaining spell mastery over your enemy force. After all, if you have more spellcasters, or if you're a more competent spellcaster, you will tend to just style on the other army, because you're going to be hiding behind the back line, running in between people, throwing fireballs, or lightning bolts, or AoE Spirit Guardians, and becoming the whirling blender of, I guess, crustaceans? I don't know what your spirits will appear like, Tyson.
It's gonna be a blast. Don't worry about it.
Okay, gotcha.
He's been very tentacle forward of late. I imagine it's got to be squids or octopi, right?
Yeah.
just
Tentacle forward. Okay. Well then, as you all organize yourselves, not having an exact date of when you guys will be invaded, just forced to stew and linger, watching the erosion of the atmosphere within the keep continue to get darker and darker as lights begin to not get lit. Sconces remain dead. It seems like servants are just...
It sounds like the servants are really bummed that their queen isn't running around. Well, I have a cousin who is damned good with a disguise kit and unfettered access to the queen's wardrobe. And I am a, decently high-level monk at this point with increased movement speed. I am more than happy to run around and drag, sprinting past servants and,
You're gonna scare the shit out of them.
Igniting their passion in the town, right?
I want a deception roll from you at advantage here, Glennis. Because Yancey's undoubtedly helping, right?
Oh yeah. We have access to the Queen's makeup collection. Yancey knows how to put on a blush. They're ready.
Oh, that's an 18.
That's a pretty good roll.
Stuffed a corset,
Glennis, on the 9th or 10th, it doesn't truly matter. I'm going to save a 10th. I'm going to put a purple mark here. Because this is character development for sure. Glennis, or rather relationship development. You perform so well that you're going to hear about this, after the fact, because you are chased by guards. The guards and knights are the one who are like, there's an intruder, imposter-ing the queen! It all started when you just, slowly fade in from the dark, Michael Myers style, exact same proportions and height as the queen. The local servant who used to be, just the cleaning up, doesn't notice your presence at first because all the lights are dimly out and no one's lighting the lanterns, and he turns around and sees you and just pale face screams out, thinking the ghost of the queen, who is still alive, somehow astrally projected into the hallway. And as you run at him really quick, he's like, in panic and fear, and as you run by him, starting the pursuit, which no one's chasing you at the moment, he wets himself, cries, and pukes in panic and fear as you run. And at that point, you're committed to the bit, right? You can't just take off the wig and shed the makeup. You can't be the prince caught in his mother's clothing. So now you're the ghost of the queen. And at the end of it, it's give me a freaking acrobatics, athletics, or describe to me how you escape before you are caught and severely questioned.
Well, okay, actually, I think I do know how to escape because I did this once with Mom. She showed me the secret shortcut where you just like jump over that giant like banister like wall and you like land in the courtyard outside, and it's like a crazy fall. But I have leveled up and I have slow fall as a monk. Like,
Oh my God.
I'm not scared of falling anywhere, right? So the way I escape is like I know the path that she used and I race to this spot once it's time to like get out of there, and I just go flying over this wall, right, like into the courtyard and then disappear.
I want an acrobatics check to see the impressment that everyone will have as you make your escape.
Absolutely. That is a 19.
Oh my God. The queen's back, you hear mutter as you do like a triple somersault to kill your momentum and dart off into a different section of the castle, going a roundabout way into the dungeon and quickly ridding yourself of the disguise, Glynis. People are horrified, more so than anything else. But it becomes much more lively, for sure. In the days leading up to conflict. What does anybody else do?
In a quiet moment, I'm just disappointed. I'm like, Yonsei, I thought my prank was so good. No one liked it. Somebody puked and pissed themselves.
No, Gilly, listen. All right, this will be memorable. Okay, people are gonna talk about this for months. Every time someone, sees a glimpse of something out of the corner of their eye, they're gonna think it's you again. All right, you caught them on their toes, you got them on edge. Maybe they're not happy, but they're paying attention, and that means someone else is gonna try and assassinate your dad, probably. So, good job.
That's
job.
the chain reaction.
Sowing the anxiety into the into the castle staff.
I want it to be fun and prankful like you. Everyone loves you. Oh, it didn't work out.
I think it would have been really funny if your mama had been here and there'd been two of you. I think that would have been really good.
That's the next level. Okay, I got it.
Yeah. So when mom comes back, you do it again.
All right. I'll prepare.
Exactly. We can
I'll prepare a silly walk too, so it's less scary.
And every once in a while, you just have to yell something nonsensical that the queen would say, but you say it in a silly voice.
Silly voice and silly walk. That'll improve it. Okay.
Like a silly run. Just pull those skirts up. Just.
Okay. Ursale, Dizem, any downtime activities you want to take?
I think it's time to make the world's worst poison with that dwarf hand I have.
God. The festering
it's festered
dwarf
long
hand.
enough. Look, it's to the point now where if I turn it into a poison, it's gonna be pretty effective.
Watch, you're trying to make a poison, you just invent penicillin.
If I make penicillin, I'm gonna lose my
If you can make penicillin from a dwarf hand, you're gonna start a nasty trade.
Look, the medicine revolution starts now.
Dizem! What do you do with this rotted dwarf hand that has been festering inside of your cabin for quite literally months now?
First, it goes in the cauldron. Nothing's in the cauldron yet, okay? So that's just step one.
Okay.
Step two, 3 gallons of salt water.
Okay.
I don't have access to fresh water. They banned it long ago. I can only conjure my own salt water
Okay.
through illicit means. Step 3, a lot of poisonous herbs that I bought off that one lady.
Okay.
We're throwing it all together. And step 4, a bit of ink.
Bit of what?
Ink.
Ink. You don't want to eat that. It's not tasty.
Is this a coloring agent? Is this?
It's both a coloring agent and also you don't want it. It's still like
No, you
babies
don't.
don't like go up to it and taste it. It's like a anti-eating agent. It's bitter.
Oh,
That's
Bless
the
you.
bitter thing in there.
Yeah,
Is the ink.
all right.
look,
Dyson,
countless people love rotten dwarf ants.
here comes the most important medicine check you can do. On a natural 1, you create some kind of healing concoction. 5 through 15, you make a weird diseased puddle, which likely isn't more effective than all of those things combined separately, in which case it is just all those things combined separately inside one vat of brine water. But 16 up, and you and I are going to have a neat little convo.
Okay. I don't know if I want the nat 1, or if I want anything else, but we love gambling.
Oh, you're
Us-
one shy. You're on the cusp of something, Dyson. You quickly realize ink and rotted flesh. Rotted flesh, specifically of a dwarf, has a strange mixture and quality to it. The bones of the dwarven hand, rather than just being dyed, are absorbing the ink, cleansing it almost. It is a strange sight indeed as you look at this, wrist bone that is just jutting out that used to be covered in flesh and muscle. And it's just... all the ink has just gathered inside where the bone was separated with a knife or a sword or something. It's almost like marrow has dripped out and replaced with itself with ink. It is truly strange, truly alchemical. As to all the poisonous herbs in salt water, I'm not... What was that?
I need to get more dwarf hands.
You need more dwarf bones, Dyson. Bones of a dwarf. As to
I
the
know
poisonous
exactly who to ask
herbs
about that.
in salt water, I'm not sure if the salt and the water will just outright destroy whatever poisonous property of the herbs. But you know for certain if you inject someone with salt water, they will likely die. So, I mean, you technically have a poison. Really? What do you do, Dyson, having your concoction?
I morally disagree with this on all levels, just as an aside.
Good, you should.
The dwarf was already dead. This is revolutionary in medicine technology. Okay,
It's certainly
I can't
a
bring that
discovery.
dwarf. I could bring that dwarf back to life. That's expensive. But on a moral level, I could save more lives. Which is definitely not the defense every doctor who's done a morally apprehensive thing that has destroyed people's lives, but say, don't worry guys, they'll save more lives. They've never said that. It's the first time in Livistio history a person said this.
Oh, yeah?
An ethics class 200 years from now is already...
They
Was
don't
it
know
morally
what they
wrong?
were thinking, but some fucking dragonborn was just cutting off dwarf hands for the sake of science. What about you, Ursale? What do you get up to?
Yeah, I think I would seek out Yonsei.
Dang, Yonsei's popular. Yonsei's easy to find.
So,
Like, fucking around
Ursale
somewhere.
comes up to you. I don't know where you are. You're probably causing problems somewhere. You're like coming out of the queen's room with all of the like clothes and makeup, and I'm like,
Yeah,
"Hey, Yonsei, how's it going?"
I've taken like
heard-
a couple of core sets for myself, just like...
I was rather impressed at how long you managed to hold that T-pose.
Thanks.
have you ever thought about trying to work out a little bit more, get a little bit stronger?
I'm confused as to why you're asking me this. Do you want to beat me up? That's a game that Felix and Gilly used to play. They used to say that they wanted me to hold up like this big heavy thing, and then they would hit it, and then I would fall over, and they'd laugh. When we were like 10.
I
mean,
mean,
know I've grown out of that.
okay, then we don't need to do that.
We don't need to do that anymore.
I mean, you seemed really scared about fighting in war.
I am very scared about fighting in a war, yeah, I am.
You know, you could do more to get yourself prepared.
I gotta be honest, Bear Daddy, I just thought you were born this way, and I thought I was born this way, and I was very willing to accept that I will never be able to do anything that you do. You know what, I do actually know how to handle a knife, so I have that going for me. Not a kitchen knife, just a regular, a dagger, I think is what they call it these days.
Well, let me know if you want help training in any of this stuff. And I believe in you and what you'll be able to do to help us.
That's the nicest thing anyone has ever said to me, Rosale. It's like rubs tears on like the queen's clothes. And if you ever want to look more attractive, you just let me know, okay? I have some
Hey, what are you saying about me?
You look great, Bear Daddy. Some people are into bears. I don't know what to tell you, but if you ever want to expand your repertoire, I got you.
Well, thank you. And Ursali will just walk away.
So nice. Okay, we need to go do something. Scuttles away with
slightly sobbed on clean clothes.
Yeah. Listen, this is whalebone, alright? This is expensive. It's just gonna waste away in there.
She's coming back!
You don't know that!
Hesiance uses whatever opportunity to expand their wardrobe. Ursale, you have asked if Yonsei wants to throw down with you or train with you. But is there anything else you get up to?
I don't think Ursale is... I think Ursale is just generally uncomfortable around the castle. He's, there's not even, a nice little band hanging out outside the castle that you could go hang out with. He's hanging out in the castle, not being generally kind of uncomfortable with where he is, but, yeah, I don't think he gets up to too much.
Okay.
You can always feel free to come down to Dyson Room. We got poison, boiling cauldrons, and rotting flesh.
I don't like any of those things.
And that's why it's better than the castle. Can't find any of those in the castle.
And then finally, last but certainly not least, Beyonce, you've been implicated in many people's downtimes here, but do you get up to anything yourself?
This is very true. I forgot that Yonsei can also do things for themselves.
Oh, yeah?
Okay, so things happened, and they were very serious. And that's very stressful for Yonsei. So Yonsei really wants to be silly, but also, like, feels this pressure of... There is a war actively now going on. My uncle almost died. And my cousin seems really stressed about it. And I think Bear Daddy is concerned that I'm gonna get, like, killed at the first strong breeze and even offered to train me. So this is all bad signs, first of all. So Yonsei is gonna do what Yonsei does best. And is going to try and get some information from people about the king's plans for the war. And the best person to do that from is to dress up like Gilly and go and talk to our favorite old man in the world.
Who's our favorite old man
There's
of
the
the world?
guys.
Argyle, the loyal manservant?
Argyle, the loyal manservant, and convince Argyle, the loyal manservant, to maybe give me some insider information that Argyle definitely overhears, because people forget that Argyle they forget he's in the room and they just start talking. So that's just the nature of Argyle's existence, you know.
True. As you do that, and John multitasks, Greg, can you tell me if you want to be, as if we're playing chess, do you want to be white or black here?
White moves first, right? So
Yep.
white.
Alright, cool.
Yeah.
Thank you so much. You go and speak with Argyle, Yonsei. Argyle, great old
Rest
man,
is Gilly.
getting closer and closer, one step to the grave every single day. One day, he'll be gone. Grimly, he looks at you, hearing the happy music in his head, known as Arcane Workshop. Or Tinker's Workshop, excuse me. You go and speak with him, and he's like, "Oh, Your Highness, thank you for seeing me in my final days. How are you?"
Oh, Argyle, you know that your final days are long to come.
I can't be certain, but did you get hit in the jaw recently?
No, this is how my voice has always sounded, Argyle.
That's always how you sound, like a...
I'm a little sick.
Oh, yes, I heard you felt a little bit under the weather after you went from the Neordian place.
Yeah, such unwashed people. So many diseases. Argyle, unfortunately, due to my sickness, I wasn't able to attend my most recent meeting with my father. Did you happen to overhear anything that I can use to make myself seem like I was paying attention?
Oh, your father? I haven't seen
These
him
are very
in
serious
years.
times. Yes?
Yes, we buried him, remember? After the battle, Your Highness.
Oh, did we? You know,
Yes.
the pain just, sometimes I wake up and I feel like things are back to normal.
I see.
Say, since I'm the king, do you mind helping me get into my study?
You're the king? I thought you were the prince.
I don't know who I am anymore in this situation. Argyle, are you okay?
Yeah.
Do you need, like, a tea?
I'm
something?
fantastic. You watch as his, like, back slowly starts to sloop forward. As his head is slowly just leaning on the stone wall.
Okay.
I have to go and get fresh water for the stew, Your Highness.
Of course. Thank you.
Yes, there's a local cephalopod who has been making the most delicious water recently.
And do you drink it?
Of course, it's what you do with water.
Maybe don't. Maybe don't
Healthy
drink
life,
that.
healthy mind, right?
What year is it?
Oh, that's a good question. 13, 14, something like that.
How off is that?
40 some odd years.
Right. And who am I? Just what do you call me again?
You're Your
What name?
Highness. You're the prince.
Yes.
Yeah.
For now.
One day you'll make a great king.
Do you know what's happening to the items that were in my late father's study?
What?
You said he died. And he did. He did die, and that was very
Yes.
sad.
It
About the things
was.
that
You
were
have to do
in his
better
desk.
than him. He was
This
a
poor old servant.
man.
Tortured.
Yes.
I will try my best to do better than him, but I can't do better than him if I don't know what he was doing. Right?
Oh, that's a good point. We should go and make sure you know what it was you were doing.
Thank you so much, Aga. You are my truest, bestest servant.
All right. I'm
And
gonna
anytime
go
you want to
get the
help
water
myself,
now.
to my coin purse, wait. Gonna give
You
you
watch
money.
him begin to bumble off with like a single, far too small pot. It's like one of those handheld pots you'd like do one egg in to like hard boil it. And he's like apparently going to.
Does he have his keys where they normally are?
Roll me an investigation check as you stalk him without him noticing you for like a minute. He certainly does. They are in his back pocket this time.
Gonna.
Yeah, give me a quick sleight of hand check.
Just gonna.
So roll one.
Just gonna.
Oh, easy enough. His passive perception is lower than a zombie's right now. You grab it, pick it up, take one fateful look at Argyle, who is bumbling towards a postern gate that leads to the river outside.
That poor man is gonna die one day.
One day. That's coming sooner rather than later at this rate.
You grab his keys.
I have his keys. My boyfriend just got home, so I'm gonna say hi to him. So you can go to someone else while I decide what I'm gonna do with these keys.
Okay.
But I definitely did not steal, actually.
Or we could just take a quick break since we are at our 1 hour mark. So let's take a quick break. Guys, we'll be right back. Woo. Everyone, we are back. Yonsei breaks into the king's office.
Am I breaking in if I have a key?
You're infiltrating the king's office. And you immediately see something you inherently know you should not have eyes on. You look at troop placements of Livistio. Would you like me to bring them onto the map?
Yes.
I will go ahead
so that other people that know better than me can see it.
Indeed.
I love that we're the horny band.
You are the horny band.
I saw that too.
Token lair.
Whoa!
We're not done though.
Oh, there's more?
It's true. Even Glynis's pirates are accounted for. Their names are currently not being shown, and that is fine by me, because you're going to have to do some sorting and sifting to figure out what these all mean. You look at all of the little markers, these little tokens that have been placed on a rough map of Livistio, which has been hand-drawn with appears to be charcoal at a bird's eye view, which most maps in this day and age aren't normally done in. You look at the small infantry detachments that have been made. You look at the cavalry detachments that have been made. You look at the combined arms regiments or battalions, whatever they're called in Livistio. You see the king himself has a little purple star there, including your own little token, or at least the band of the Horde, whatever we're calling the unicorn knights that are Glynis's party. There is a bunch of fleets that are sitting right off the coast of the castle. As we all know, this castle is far larger on the map than it would be. Otherwise, this is a 30-mile stone infrastructure, which just is not the case. There are trees and other sorts of things on this protected royal island, which sort of blocks you from them. But if you travel a lot, you undoubtedly would have seen the galley, which is what Killigan Pharos, or Alpharos, tends to pilot, or captain, I should say. You see the other sorts of warships, or river, I think they're just modified riverboats, honestly, that can crew more people to do minor boarding actions or little ramming maneuvers. You also see the trade and supply fleets over here, which are currently stationed and parked because somebody, without naming names, sort of drowned the entire southern river of the Tenebrae with a massive flood and has kept traffic here for the better part of a month now.
Honestly,
yeah,
it seems like a good
who
plan.
Did that? Yeah.
Yeah, I think whoever did that was really brilliant, actually.
I guess so.
If I met them, I'd shake their hand.
You look at all this information, unsure when someone's going to come in through that door, looking for something.
Ah, okay.
What do you do?
So Yonsei is a liberal arts major. So does not understand the strategics of this. But just like, how much time would it take me to just make like a quick like jot down notes of like where the majority like ships are, you know, off the coast of this?
If you wanted to illustrate by hand a map real quick and then denote,
not illustrate, just like write down like ships and then like a dash and then like off coast of island, and like I understand what that means, but if someone read it, they'd be like, what the fuck does this mean? You know?
Well, that would
Look,
be quite
Yonsei went
easy
to college. They know how to take notes, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like I like my own like little personal shorthand, you know?
It probably takes you about as long as it took you to explain that to me. So I'm not
great.
worried about the time.
All right. I'm moving on. That's great. I don't know what to do with that information. Should I even have that information? Probably not.
Probably not. No. This is like some real espionage shit you're doing.
Yeah. Now I'm looking for correspondence. I'm looking for, like, I don't know. Is Nord talking to us? Are any of our allies like, ha 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 ha, fuck you, or like, oh my god, do you need help? You know, like.
Roll me an investigation check.
What's the climate?
You're gonna start to look for
now?
correspondence in this war room, or this planning room.
While dressed as the prince. 13.
13. Let's see what I have for you.
I feel like I should be proficient in investigation, but I'm not. Even though I'm the one that does it all the time. There's a feat that can change that I might have to take.
I suppose that is true. You look for correspondence, and sure enough, you find a single letter in a stack of random bullshit that truly catches your eye. You see a report from a unmarked entity or person. No sigils, no stamps, nothing like that. No signatures either. That just says the pontoon has been completed. It is a simple note. I'm sorry.
Pontoon? Can I get a spelling of that? Can I get a definition? Can I?
P-O-O-N.
Pontoon.
This is on
Beyonce is like poutine? What?
No. This is on like a pigeon scroll almost that you have picked out and just truly read. It was buried underneath a small stack of papers. Yeah. You're sure there are more coded messages. This one seems like rushed and urgently sent, more so than anything else. It also is clearly referencing something the king likely already knew about from a previous correspondence, but it wouldn't surprise you if most of these letters, which look like junk mail, are actually coded correspondence.
Just don't have the time to go through it. Okay, Yonsei is gonna use his next best sense, besides his eyes and his good looks, which is one of the 8 senses, that Yonsei believes in.
Yeah, can you just give me a quick death saving throw real quick for me? Just for fun.
Okay.
Just don't roll 1.
Great.
Yeah, that's
6.
fine.
Okay.
Yeah, go ahead and just mark a failure on your character sheet, even though you're not injured nor dying.
Okay, great. Yonsei's gonna sniff the little tiny note. Does it smell like something in particular to Yonsei's discerning palate?
No.
Which has tried many wines. Okay, great.
It doesn't smell perfumed or drenched in wine, I promise.
Damn.
It smells like humid paper, but it has been raining for quite some time.
Okay, alright. Over that, moving on. Does the king keep a diary?
Not that you have ever known.
Mm.
In your years of snooping around, you've never found his personal diary.
Shame. Okay. I feel like I shouldn't stay for very longer. Again, Yonsei is not a trained sleuth. And just like a lot of anxiety right now. Is like got a flop sweat, you know?
Yeah.
God, is a thought in here? It's just me.
It's humid.
And is gonna write down what this letter said. Specifically that it was like a pigeon scroll from somewhere. Again in Yonsei's shorthand. And then I'm gonna dilly-dally out of the room and lock the door behind me.
Yeah, give me another death save and don't roll a 1.
Oh, what?
a death save, as though you were dying on the ground, bleeding out. Perfect.
19.
You lock the door. You close it. Well, you close it, then you lock it, probably in that order.
Yeah.
And then you quickly dart off into the hallway, unaware of who might have been alerted to
No one,
a
obviously.
door opening.
Because Yonsei is so good at their job.
Indeed.
Yonsei, is there a way to make key copies in this world?
You would need to find a key maker and have them make you one.
Okay, probably not a good idea. Yonsei is gonna drop the keys, like, behind Argyle, wherever Argyle is.
Oh, you're gonna
and
wait
run
for
away.
Argyle to return?
Not wait for Argyle to return. I believe Argyle went somewhere.
Yeah, he went somewhere.
Or
For
does
sure.
Argyle does Argyle have like quarters or something?
I think he was fetching water, right?
He was fetching water from the river.
I think it's more likely for Argyle to have left his keys in his room, and so I'll just leave them there
Okay.
on the floor as though they fell.
Several
Innocently.
hours later, you guys will hear a commotion from all over the keep, for Argyle has indeed returned. And with him, a unloaded crossbow, which he is holding. And many servants are trying to... at first they didn't know if it was loaded or not, so they're like, oh my god, he's gonna shoot one of us. Like he's finally snapped in his old man dementia. But when he's just, like, carrying around and, like, trying to approach people, like, I found this on the riverbank, people are quickly just sort of generally concerned of where did Argyle find a crossbow? What do you guys do as you descend or come out of your rooms to find out what all the hubbub is about?
Well,
Uh,
there's a...
I was gonna say, Glynis,
Uh-huh.
what was, like, all the weapons we gave to those pirates?
Crossbows, lots of crossbows.
Lots of crossbows? The pirates in our rivers?
They're not in our
Now-
rivers. They're like northwest of us. They're in neutral or like free territory, so to speak.
I'm just saying it could be a possibility that
Does
This
the
is
crossbow have any? Like,
Lavar.
Yonsei will take the crossbow first of all from Argyle, very gently. Thank you, Argyle. This
is yours,
is a
Your
great-
Highness.
Yes, it is, and I am your highness.
I always
Uh,
thought you were a bow hunter, not a crossbow hunter.
You know, I think it's smart to expand, and contract.
The crossbow's an
new-
ungodly weapon, Your Highness. You should be rid of it.
You have strong opinions on crossbows, I see, sir.
They're illegal.
Oh,
No, he thinks they are. Though.
you're right, Argyle, which is why I must get rid of this immediately, and I myself will take care of that because I'm the prince.
Yes, you are. He just wanders
Uh,
off.
Glynis, if you would, could you maybe ask your manservant here where exactly he found this illegal contraband?
That is a great question, other manservant of mine who has no relation to me. Argyle, where did you get this crossbow? Where was it
Your Highness,
found?
your body double should be slapped in the face quite quickly for...
Is it? Oh, this stings!
Oh my goodness! You've struck His Highness! He says, immediately getting you two switched out. Someone arrest this person! They struck the prince!
Yonsei's like, and then we'll go stand behind Glynis and, like, puppeting, like stick the arms through, and,
Argyle's
actually-
horrified by the show. His vision isn't what it used to be. Glasses don't really exist, or he doesn't know about them.
Argyle, you were just seeing double. We were the same person all along. Talk, Glynis, talk. I'll
What
trust you,
happened
I'll
to your
trust you.
British accent, Your Highness?
Well, it's not really British. It gets
You're
more British
posh.
when Yonsei is around.
I found the
gesture as he
crossbow
talks,
by
so-
the river.
Whereabouts by the river, good sir? Could you perhaps retrace your steps for me?
You're asking a lot. I can try.
Understood. You know, why don't you rest up? You're looking a little pallid. Perhaps some nice hot tea, some fresh water might do you well.
My mind used to be much better when our cows had cheese in it, but suddenly we ran out.
That's
Oh,
so
there's a
mysterious.
Your cows had cheese in it?
All of my
Sorry, I'm not here, I'm
mice
not
have
here, I'm not
stolen
here.
the cheese.
The cheese bandit.
My cat is gone.
I had nothing to do with the cat. That is unrelated.
Argyle, you've done very well. Thank you so much. Why don't you go rest, and I will take this from here.
Okay.
Presumably, there's like 9 other servants or somebody who's like,
Yeah, they're all-
accosted with an unloaded crossbow.
Entirely
Yeah.
confused, but like once you guys show up, they're like, thank fuck, someone of authority has shown up.
Does Argyle have his little pot?
No, he forgot it.
He forgot it by the river.
Oh.
Perhaps.
Oh. He might have
I'd like-
killed someone with the pot and then stolen their crossbow. This is entirely likely. I've heard that sometimes really old men get just like really strong for no reason. Sometimes as like the last bit of their strength leaving their body.
This
So-
explains Smiling Sam. He just has an extended, last breath.
Yeah, it's just what I might say.
That's why he's
I'd like
always
to ask one of
inhaling
these-
when he speaks. So he never.
I'd like to ask one of these like accosted servants to like report the crossbow being found to either my father if he's like out of his sulking chambers, or Bryce, who I assume has taken over the like responsibilities, so that it's done, and tell them that the prince and his merry men are going to go check out the location of the found crossbow if they are needed, and
Yeah,
then
for sure.
I'm gonna go check out the river and try to figure out where this was found. And Dyson brings up a good point. Probably looking for a clay pot as a like point of reference. And I don't know. I guess merry men, if you would like to join me, this is what I'm doing.
I would
Makes
love to
sense
go
to
on
me.
this adventure with
All
you,
right.
my body double.
Yes, of course. Your Highness.
You all head on out to the river where Yonsei last saw Argyle trundle off towards.
I think he should stop drinking the shit water. Personally, that's my.
It's not made of any bodily waste.
Had a
It's
rotten
made
one
of
here,
it's made of wasted bodies, not any
Oh,
bodily
God.
waste.
Dizem, that's worse.
Good God,
Not everyone is
Dyson.
like you and can survive off of rotted whatever it is squids eat.
It's not cannibalism. Argyle's a human and Thou's a dwarf.
Linus just like plugs his ears and goes la 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 while this
What the
made
hell
it
are you
to
guys
the
even
river.
talking about?
Everyone who is searching, please describe for me how you were searching, or just click investigation or perception. It's up to you.
Glynis is going to search by going to spots that he remembers Argyle taking him in the past. Old men probably have habits and patterns, and Argyle largely was responsible for raising him. So, like, places we fished or hunted or, like, hung our clothes out to dry if we... whatever, right? Like, he's going to old haunts, I think, and working from there. I think that's his investigation method.
Yeah.
Yonsei's just standing around with her hands on her hips, just kind of like looking with a perception check. Just like, Never been out here, you guys. This is where the commoners go.
They are very inspired by the Ballad of Tom Sawyer.
I've heard
the
of that
greatest
one.
supervisor.
Yeah. I wrote something about that one. Didn't understand it. Didn't understand the point. Why would you be friends with a commoner? Like, why would you? Gross.
I'm waiting for an
Right,
investigation check or a perception check. From
You
those
got a perception
searching.
from me.
I
got a 15.
want to give you advantage,
I think-
Glynis, because you were raised by him and would know where he would likely go. He is a man who has
Okay.
walked this island for most of his life.
Okay, excellent. I assume the choice is the same, investigation or perception,
Yep.
just at advantage. Okay, then I will choose perception with a 21.
Okay.
I think Ursale is just trying to cover a lot of ground. He doesn't have any particular insight on this old man. He seems kind of foolish. Like, I could probably find the best places to get water the easiest, but, like, this guy.
Yeah, he absolutely would not be using that place.
Exactly.
Ursale
So I'm just trying to...
Yeah. You take off into the woods looking for, or rather the gentle forest of this island reserve, finding all sorts of secrets and shortcuts, and a place where many lives used to walk on the daily, but now sees little use. You all make it to the river, and Glynis here, with a 21, is going to be the first one to find exactly where Argyle discovered this crossbow. For while Yonsei is out searching, trying to find it and follow his steps, Glynis, you see the ceramic pot that was meant to boil an egg in, apparently.
It's a classic egg pot. You know, we all have
Yes.
those.
We all have those, agreed. Made out of clay. You
That's
put
what
them
it's
in a
for?
fireplace. You find it on the ground, and then you will slightly look up and off to a bit of dirt that is just like part of the river. I don't want to call it an island, it's just really a jut of rock with sediment on it. Where you will find the person who once had this crossbow, presumably. A unmoving, bloated thing of a human.
Do they perhaps look like... when we fed and housed and clothed and trained and gave boats to our refugees, did they have a distinctive dress or look?
Both the corpse and those people are wearing relatively simple garb. The only difference is this guy has been in the water for quite some time, and face down in it to the point where he's floating. Purely.
I assume he floated downriver, right? Because the river flows from the west of Livistio to the east, right? Yeah. So I assume he's floated downriver and has just come to rest here. My first thought is perhaps the boats attacked, or the boats are coming. Njord is coming, and this is the one of our men who has attacked them, slowed them down, but has now drifted to our shores. This is my first thought, and I tried to identify them in some way. Is the crossbow? I guess we have the crossbow, right? We took it with us. Perhaps Glynis thinks to the crossbow real quick and goes, "Oh, Dyson was making some points. Maybe it's not exactly what he was warning about, but is there a mark of a halfling tailor, and their organized tailor, shipment dates on it somewhere?"
This is an unmarked light crossbow, which is the exact... You got 200 of them for a favor, essentially.
All right. Well, I guess Glynis is going to I guess he can wade out and grab the body, and bring it to shore, while he like hollers at his party like, "You over here, dog!" And he is going to check the corpse for anything else of interest, right? Like, does it have any? It's wearing simple clothes. Does it have any pockets? Does it have is there anything anything else noticeable about it or important about it? I'm gonna just
the most noticeable
pat down.
thing that you will see is as you're wading in, you're essentially like dragging the body back to shore. You will see a trail of minnows and other sorts of freshwater fish that have been picking at this guy's face, and other sort of exposed flesh that was there. It is quite a disgusting sight. Yonsei, Ursali, and Daizum all kind of take notice in as you flip him over to like look at his face. And you will see that like from forehead down to like the front lip, he has been stricken with some sort of slashing weapon that has punched several inches into his skull, likely being the cause of death. As to his belongings, he has none. They have been lost to the river. Even his shoes are gone. Only like his pants and shirt, which just can't really be removed due to the belt and just the placement of a shirt, have stuck to his carcass. But this guy could have been any one of the 600 refugees you hired. It's definitely not the pirate guy you hired. The guy had...
Because he would be recognizable.
Yeah.
Alright. I guess I ask the party, like, what do you wager? Is this one of ours?
I mean, I don't think those crossbows were particularly unique. And it's very likely they might have also sold it to other people on both sides, because why wouldn't the Halfling Mafia want to make a profit? And corners look the same everywhere, kind of. I don't know. I don't know how to say that nicely. But I feel like the difference between
same is that what Yonsei's saying?
Yeah, that's kind of what Yonsei's saying.
Actually,
Wow,
that brings up an
that's
interesting
pretty rude.
point. Are there ethnic differences between the like free cities to the like independent territories between Livistio and Niord, and like Livistio and Niordians? Like, is there, or
In
are they all
theory.
pretty much the same people?
We have a way we could test this. You guys aren't gonna like it, but we do know the diet that our pirates have been eating. We
You're
could
gonna
cut
open
open
his
his stomach.
and look for like our specific brand of bread.
If it's just bread, we know it's our pirate. If it's like bread and some other stuff, it's
Well,
not our pirate.
they've been scavenging and
Yeah, there might be, like,
fishing.
Small
Right.
game or like some venison, but it's not gonna be like
I think we can
fine
bypass
cheese.
that one.
I would like to argue that since they've been in the water for a long time, it's very likely all of their body is filled with water.
You want to test that theory?
What?
I don't, but if you would like to, you can do that alone in your own time.
I figure there's one of two things has happened. Either there's been small scale conflict very close to here, and this body has gotten here, or there is fairly large scale conflict further away, and this body has gotten close to here. I think
Yonsei
whether
looks
this is
around.
our man or not our man, then that's sort of irrelevant to the
Ursali
question.
Says this, Yonsei like looks around, kind of like paranoid. Like, is there boats in the water? Is there another dead body somewhere?
No boats.
That's
in the
Yonsei
water.
sees the SEAL Team 6 rise out of the like shore.
It's actual seals.
It's
Let's
actual
agree
seals.
with Versali on this. Regardless of if this is our man or the enemy's, there's clearly been a fight upriver.
Well, I suppose we are resolved to report this and see if our scouts have noticed anything, and if not, perhaps raise the awareness, the alert level of our standing forces.
Yonsei is gonna look around again and lean over to to Gillian, be like, I do happen to know that there are some ships.
Oh, which kind?
Yonsei opens his notebook.
Much like another college student trying to like copy notes, Glynis looks at the shorthand and is like, I have no idea what this says. Like, there's ships on rock by river. Which rock? Like, T shape over here. What is that?
Oh no, that's an arrow. That's an arrow.
I see.
I mean, I feel like maybe this isn't all of them. I don't, but there's supposed to be soldiers and ships not that far from here.
Well, if there are soldiers, I doubt they were dressed like this. Yes.
Well, I think your pirates are also included on the map. I don't know if the people, the free people that you hired were included on the map. I didn't really understand what some of the symbols meant. I just know that some of them were boats.
Hold on to these. Do know that this is treason, but
Yeah.
it is useful treason.
Yeah. I mean, is it treason if it was for a good cause, being us knowing things, really?
I
took one class in law drama.
Yeah, here's the thing. It really depends on how nice the person in charge is feeling about that stuff. But let's hold on to that. We'll have to decipher this to see if it's useful later. But I think it's time to report our findings. Osali, Dizem. I forgot the one name you use for everything. I apologize. Osali Dizem.
Very rare.
The name is oversaturated now.
It's like... true. Yeah, there's just so much Dizem everywhere. I can't keep it straight. The corpse here, I would prefer it put to rest.
Oh,
I would prefer it put to rest if you can, and I would leave that to either of you if you so desire. I'm going to return to the castle.
By Dizem's religion, this has already been returned to the water.
Oh yeah, no, it's
shoved back in.
I pulled it out of the water, so perhaps if you need to do some ritual with it or desire to, put it to rest properly, I would leave it in your hands.
And then you've already been feasting.
And then I remember the conversation. I had my ears plugged in and la over here, and I just let Dizem do what he wants with the body, and I go to back to the castle to report the findings.
Understood. Ursale and Dizem, you've been left with this body. Do you treat it with respect or throw it back in the river?
Well, that is
Yonsei is also still there, because Yonsei has plans, actually.
Yonsei's gonna do something with the body?
No. Yonsei is gonna go see if Yonsei can find more signs of a fight. Driftwood.
Yonsei,
what?
You know magic.
Oh, God. Yeah.
Can you speak with a corpse?
Can I speak with a corpse? I would like to take note that you didn't ask this question until after my cousin left, and that's disconcerting. But also, no, I cannot. I cannot do that.
If I had a week, I could speak with this corpse, but...
I don't think you should keep this corpse for a week. I think that's a bad idea.
I mean, I can speak with the corpse, it just won't speak back.
Yeah, any of us can talk to the corpse, technically. That is right. That is...
A full, lengthy, 5-question conversation.
I'm not saying commune, but we can definitely say things to the corpse. I just can't say anything.
I mean, I can ask it 5 questions, for sure.
I'm gonna drag this body back into the river.
You throw the body back.
You want some help with that?
Yonsei, you will find that this body cosmically landed upon this bit of earth. You don't see any other sign of battle, nor sign of boat destruction. Perhaps their boats were felled upriver, and then other people discovered them. After all, there is a full-blown city on this entire side, or it could have gone down this path and gotten stuck on the more shallower bits of the river. Or it, someone was
Cosmically, coincidentally, or
coincidentally,
intentionally.
cosmically, or who knows? Maybe this guy is haunting you all now for setting him up to die. Who knows what might be occurring? You throw him back in the river. Glynis, you go
As
report.
is with
Fuck!
other leaders.
I need to move on, guys. What? Speak up.
Nope. It's gone.
Okay, thank you.
It's like the body.
Almost
The
gone.
body's gone. Glynis, you report your findings to the king, assumedly.
Well, king or whoever's in charge. Yeah, if the king is like accepting royal visitors still, yes.
You're
I
his
suppose. He seems to
baby
be the one
boy.
tactically involved.
You're old enough to do
Well,
things.
I mean,
with.
he's in like air quotes
Yeah.
hiding. I wasn't
Enough to
sure,
do things with.
but yes, yeah, I will report to the king.
You
and-
find the king alone for once, not in the company of anyone, it seems. And he is in his office staring at a stack of paper, which you don't recognize, as well as a map that is, well, he's currently inspecting, seeing if anyone did anything to it while he was away. Clearly having noticed someone entered this room, not that Yonsei admitted. Well, no, she did admit to it. Yeah, never mind. Glynis, you
She was
stare at the
immediately
back
I
of
did
your
break into your
father,
father's office.
who will quickly speak to you as you enter and say, "My son, you barge in. How are you?"
I am well, father. I have news to report. I thought necessary to bring to the attention of those with the plan. Argyle, in his senile attempts to acquire what I can only assume to be saltwater, has found a crossbow and accosted some servants with it. I investigated this and have found a corpse, seeming to have drifted downriver and landed upon the rocks. It strikes quite a resemblance to the men that I have acquired to slow the advance of the Neordians. I thought perhaps we could, you might know, of the scouts might know if this to be the case, and if not, perhaps a higher alert for the time being may or may not be in order.
Since morning, bodies and other debris have been washing up on the southern flow of the northern Altheros. This is... Yes. Thank you for alerting me. It seems that enemy boats shall soon be in our waters.
I feel the same.
I should ask you,
Would you
where
have
you
me do any-
plan.
My question was simple, Father. What would you have me do to prepare, if anything?
If you plan to lead your soldiers, go to them. If you plan to stand here, come what may, stay. I guarantee nothing in war.
Very well. I will gather the merry men and make my way towards Livistone, I guess. Just casual aside, Father. Our castle Livistone and the city Livistone, very similarly named and slightly
Very similar.
confusing. Yeah,
It's
maybe we could add
specifically
a
designed
prefix.
to confuse scryers.
Oh, that's a dick move and also fairly based. Okay.
Yes. In
Very well.
ancient days,
I will-
if you want a quick history lesson, kings would name themselves after their own countries so that they couldn't be spied on.
Oh, that is an interesting tidbit.
Yes.
I like that.
It does get
very well.
confusing, though.
It definitely threw me a little bit there. I will gather my consort, and my intention is to join the the horny band (4). And yes. I will. I don't know. I don't think Glynis is cocky enough to be like, I will lead them to victory. But he was like,
can I ask of you a favor before you go?
Of course, Father.
Two, actually. Return your mother's dresses to her wardrobe. And number 2, take Argyle with you. He will likely be killed in the fighting should it get to this point.
If you worry about his health in a fight, is it wise to send him to a company of arms that will see combat?
He has nowhere else to go. We are his last remaining family, Glynis. He's given our life to us, but the castle will not be safe. And it would be a shame to watch him trip and get himself cut on a spear or accidentally shot in a trade of exchange of arrows. I'd rather him out in the countryside.
Oh, I see your intent. Yes, I will take him to Livistio and see him put up there.
Thank you.
I guess don't die. And exit the chambers.
Yeah. You give him...
Oh, I question right before I spin around? He's studying the map that Yancey saw and shared with me. Yes.
Yep.
Do I have like clear view of that? Like, can I see it, or is that kind of like, would it be prying to be like?
Give me a quick stealth check as he assumes you leave, and then you like quickly turn around and like look over his shoulder to glance at it.
Okay, fine. 18.
Why are you guys rolling so high today? This is insane. We had 1 6. Like, what is going on? Oh my god. You glance over. Yeah, you see everything, man. He's not like, oh, I'm paranoid. My son's keeping it close to the chest. At this point, things are set in motion and sort of set in stone.
Well, what this does in my mind is verify Yancey's like figures. So I don't need to memorize it or know much about it. But I'm like, okay, if we can decode Yancey's notes, then he's got everything I need, and I can rely on them as my like stratego. And then I go to gather the merry men.
Oh, excuse me. You gather the troop who are fucking around with the body or on their way back from messing with the body. Probably in the courtyard as they're heading in to either get change from being muddy or whatnot.
Friends, it seems that Father and the spies agree that war is coming soon to the city. We are to make way to our forces so that we may lead them. Time is of the essence, but feel free to make any preparations or, last second calls to favors or whatever else in town before leaving. But it is time to set ourselves in motion. Also, yes.
You can go first.
My father knows that we may have absconded with some corsets and various dresses. If we could have those returned, you don't need to know about that. If those could be returned before we leave, that would be wonderful.
It's not like she's gonna use them.
I mean, no, but I would like to stay out of the dungeon. I wouldn't. Going into timeout kind of sucked.
What are you guys?
Don't worry about it, Dizem. What was your question?
I need 65 gold pieces.
Um,
I don't
Very
know.
specific.
You're in debt.
I am.
I say
Yeah,
I need 65 gold pieces.
I
there's
currently have negative
Two
money.
people here that have
What is?
money.
Oh, I see. This is a request of my friends. Good. I will go make my own preparations while you talk of money, and I run away because I don't want to go further into debt.
Now the prince is in debt.
So
But
what are you
I
going to use
know
this money for? As I'm starting to count out gold coins.
you two like being alive. Am I correct?
Yes.
Correct?
Death is not fun.
Correct.
Haven't experienced it.
Yes, but what is
Haven't
important is that
experienced it.
when you give me money, I can buy a big gem that when you die, I kind of like just slam it into your chest, and your soul absorbs it, and you come back to life.
Okay.
That sounds pretty cool.
Yeah.
yeah,
better than
just
death.
only 65?
Well,
Yeah,
I
I mean,
have the 235 other gold pieces put into this gem.
Oh, how expensive does this gem need to be?
300 gold pieces.
Oh god.
If one of you guys die, I can revive you. But if two of you guys die, that's where the situation gets a little tricky, but we're not going to focus on that.
Okay. If you want to go halvesies on this,
odd
64,
number.
65.
okay, never mind.
Thank you. You're first on the list to be revived, okay? Top of the
Fine.
list. If both of you go down, one of you is up here. Other one's right here.
Not the
I have a
crown
feeling I know
prince to
who's-
a country, notably.
The crown prince is in debt, and if he dies, the debt goes away, okay? That is like my way out of debt. I'm not supporting.
Oh, I thought we were supposed to be
Sorry.
role-playing here, Dizem, not telling the cold hard truth.
Dizem lives the cold hard truth. He's from the ocean.
True.
Glynis lives through the whole fight, and then Dizem just appears at the end and like snaps his neck like the Undertaker from behind. Oops!
We saved 10,000 gold. I don't remember how much we have. Yeah.
Dizem, you can go and search for a diamond to buy for 300 GP. You will essentially find a... Honestly, you might meet the occultist for the first time, who's like, one day I will learn how to unlock the secrets of life and death, but in the meantime, here's 300 GP's worth of diamond. He'll take your money. Please add a diamond worth 300 GP to your character sheet. Its weight is negligible. So, 0. Any other preparations the team makes on their way out of the keep and or as they are leaving the keep?
Well, we're gonna collect Argyle and try to get him to come with us.
It's been years since I've been on campaign, Your Highness.
I'm glad to have you ride with us. It is an honor, of course.
Yes.
How many horses have you been through, Argyle?
At least 16.
Amazing. Look at that. Dedication.
Some of them
I mean,
died unnatural deaths. Unless you
Oh, boy.
count a lance through their chest cavity as natural, in which case, they all died natural deaths.
Yes, that seems pretty natural to me.
It turns out lancing a man and his horse does not cause brain damage unless he lands squarely on his head,
It's good to know.
which I've done.
As a quick aside, before I finish what we're doing, when I had the vision of Grandfather's rusty sword, it was buried in the swamps. Was that in like the southern Tenebrae?
Yep.
Okay, so it's way the fuck down there. All right.
That is where your grandfather died as well.
Okay. All right. Then, Bing chillin'. I collect Argyle and I'm ready.
Okay. Ursale, Yonsei?
Good.
You
me riding
gather
a
up
horse.
If Snefru needs anything, we will retcon and give him that opportunity to buy stuff on his way out. Just as a recorded message, or if I forget.
Going to war. Going to war. Going to war.
They're going to war. Yonsei, are you hyped on a scale of 0 to 10? 0 being you're dreading every moment of existence, and 10 being you're going to war. You're going to war. Where are you?
I'm a 0 and a 10.
Perfect.
I'm a bard and I contain multitudes. I can both dread this and hype people up at the same time.
It's just swinging wildly up and down the spectrum.
Like,
Ursale,
going to war.
are you excited
I
to
think-
join a war?
I think Ursale is just the absolute opposite of our bard. Just like
Solid 5.
even keel, solid 5 all the way through, where the bard is up and down on the either end.
Okay. Dizem, war brings a bunch of opportunities and also the natural state of the ocean. The ocean is constantly at war with itself by human standards. Is this good? Is this bad? Is this a natural state you assumed landwalkers to be in?
Everything clashes with itself. Humans clash against humans, waves against waves, trees against trees. Everything is in a constant state of chaos. But
I often stay up late to
If-
watch the trees fight.
if I have my magic, that means my god's down with what I'm doing. I'm
True.
ready. I'm ready to start
that was
this. I'm ready
poetic.
to be with it.
Dizem, have you considered being the main character of this arc?
I'm just wanting to build a church. I don't know
It's
how
a
I got
church arc.
here.
What a
What
hero's
is-
journey you're gonna be on.
Let's be real. You have been working your way up to going to war for months now. It has been weighing heavily on you. Is the fact that it's about to happen a almost relief that something has finally happened, the wait is over, now it's time to truly act? Or is it a, oh shit, it's out now suddenly hit me, we're no longer preparing? What is Glynis like?
I think it's probably more the latter. I think that Glynis envisioned wartime being something he worked up to, right? Glynis envisioned creating a mercenary band and solving the country's problems and slowly building, like, up to this. And instead, Glynis's first real taste of battle kind of already happened, like, in a solo context, but this isn't a chimera. Like, this is a full war, and I think he's like, oh shit, it, like, this is trial by fire. This either goes well or it's like all the stakes, right? I think Glynis is trying his best to channel that oh shitness into like energy, right? The way like you use nerves before a big game or something, like but definitely more of the like, all right, it's happening, and God, I hope we're ready.
You hope you're ready as you ride out of the city. Yeah, you ride out close to sunset, we will say. And you will make your way across the bridge and notice, after all, this is the first time you've been out of the keep since you've returned, that on your way southbound, riding down to Aleon, you will see that by the great slope that sort of gently rolls up, where a great big windmill is out in the open field, just catching wind, essentially, there is a military camp that has been raised and erected, and as you guys approach it, you see that a picket has been made, essentially a toll or a security checkpoint. There, a couple of guards quickly raise their hands to stop you, to essentially ensure you're not some Neordian spy or some other people. None of them immediately recognize you, Glynis, except for the man in charge, who looks like the coolest grave digger in the world. This guy's got a great big heavy, like, silk shirt on with multiple rippling folds that, like, lean down, not wearing armor at all. He's holding on to his shovel as though it was a cane. He's always at like a weird, almost Dutch angle, looking at you. He's got like spectacles on his face, which are in the darkness of the night tinted black. Doesn't seem to care at all that he's effectively blind. And he greets you and says,
That's
"Oh,
so fucking cool.
if it isn't the investigators himself and his team of merry men down to, it looks like, but gained a bear. That's a beautiful bear, your highness."
It is indeed. It's not well trained yet. Also, we gained Ursale.
That's what I meant. That thing beside you.
How strong does this guy look, John?
He looks like you can fold him in his clothing.
That's all I wanted to know. I'm not doing anything.
Okay. You could easily knock him down, for sure. Like, as tall glass, like... tall...
Like, if he looked like he had, like, 14 or 15 strength, I might be more insulted by this guy, but he's just blabbering.
That beautiful
Told you,
bear
Ursale,
beside you.
people are into you.
Well, I'm not here to get in anybody's way unless you're a Neordian sycophant. You wouldn't happen to be one of those, would you, your highness?
Please
Sucking at
never use
the
that word again.
teats of
No.
imperialism
No.
and murder.
Oh god, he's so bad every time.
You know, I never really took you for a military man, but I'm sure that you know me, a concerned investigator of the people.
Yes.
I don't
Well,
want to
you know
do
what
it
they
all.
say. If you're going to war, you better bring a grave digger with you.
What the fuck?
I'll be seeing you guys later. And he, like, gives you a big wink that you can't even see through his, like,
No
nightglass.
offense, good sir, but I truly hope that we do not meet until this is well and truly over. And I will ride through his wink.
You ride through his wink, hearing a muttering of, like, we all meet the grave digger one day. And on that,
Who the fuck was
I
that
bet
guy?
I could dig graves twice as fast as him.
Ursale, he was coming on to you, man.
You know, Ursale, I am sure you are quite stronger and more athletic than him, but there's something about that man. Since the last time we met him till now, I think he has some affinity with the grave that may put even the largest muscles to shame.
I feel like he might want to see those muscles, is what I think he was insinuating, though, actually. Bear Daddy.
They're right here.
Did,
Alright,
did
fair enough.
Winnie ever get successfully trained by Brogvarsh? Or is that like an ongoing process that got stopped by like wartime efforts?
To your knowledge, Brogvarsh is still in the process of taming a bear. If you
Cool.
want, I can do a
Alright,
quick
I'm
animal
chilling.
handling check to see how that's going.
Okay, it's not super important, but if we
Oh,
are
good.
going to war, it'd be sick if one of us had a like war beast to ride on.
It would be sick,
Snapper.
but it's a good thing you didn't ask.
Fireballing on the back of the bear.
I think it should be Snefru. That's the best protection for Snefru, is a giant
I
fucking
mean,
bear.
a war gnome on a like bear
Battle
is
bear?
the most high. A battle bear with a war gnome wizard is just like high tier epic, right? Like I can't possibly suggest anyone else at this point.
You guys camp on the road to Livistio. I'm so sorry. That was...
You okay?
No, that hurt. I started to chuckle at the name, and then it made me think of Greg's joke, and then I was like coughing, and I was like, oh, it just... Oh, that fucking hurt, guys. I'm not gonna lie. Hang on. Oh. I'm like the Joker from the hit movie The Joker. I just suddenly laugh.
The
when
hit
I'm
movie, The
in
Joker.
severe pain.
Oh.
You
It's the
guys
Batman.
camp in the woods outside Livistone. And John is going to roll the first random encounter check in a while.
I had to fight 28 more boars, John, in the middle of a war camp. There's gonna be
Oh,
a
that
few
wasn't a
questions.
random encounter. That was a plan. A 13 on a 4 is... nothing. Perfect. You guys get a restful night's sleep. Maybe not as restful as you'd imagine, but restful enough to, on the morrow, get back on your horse. Many of you gaze at the last visage of the great big island city of Livistone. Not seen any unusual smoke trails that would denote that your home is on fire, at the very least.
So, Gilly,
Yes.
Is the
Um,
12th of April. Sorry, go for it.
no, I don't know how to say this. I'm worried that your dad's gonna die.
I gave him age-old advice before I left.
Uh-huh.
As always, don't die. So I'm
Yeah.
pretty confident he'll follow that.
All right.
If you're-
Fair enough.
If your dad dies, do you like kick out the old council and instate a new council, or do you like keep them?
I believe that it would be my choice to assign any new members to the council that I desired.
I mean, you'd have to rid the country of all the Njords trying to kill us first.
I was
Yes,
just
that
spitballing.
is my first priority. Ideally, that does not happen. I've worried about my father's death for some time. I worried that perhaps it had already happened unbeknownst to us.
He is a warmonger, Your Highness. Argyle helpfully chimes up. It was bound to happen. One of his plots would have got him into trouble.
It's true. It's true. Damn those paladins, you know.
What's a paladin?
They're the ones that slew him.
What? No, your father's alive in the castle.
Tell me, what's my
you
father's
said
name, Argyle?
earlier.
Your father's name is Gilmore.
I think that's accurate. You called him a warmonger.
Yes.
It's not the...
I think it's in your blood.
Interesting.
Is the king a warmonger? What
Tell
wars
me, Argyle.
has he partaken in?
Which plot? Yes, which plot do you think is most likely to get him killed?
Probably the one with the Neordians.
You don't say. Are there any other ones in close contention, Argyle?
Probably the ones with the paladins. He helpfully asks. That or the one with your grandfather.
What?
Does he talk to him regularly?
Who?
My grandfather.
Your grandfather talks with who regularly?
My father.
I don't think so, unless it's through correspondence I'm not allowed to read anymore.
Anymore?
Understood.
Yep.
When was the last time you read a correspondence between them?
Oh, whenever your father came the king, that Bryce Bronson fellow was quick to be like, hey, maybe stop getting this guy to, you know, check your mail for poison.
Bryce Bronson?
Yeah, that's his name, the devil himself.
You don't like him?
No, not at all.
You know, Argyle, I don't like him either. I don't like names that
He
start with the
always
same letter.
whispers at me menacingly whenever I'm in the castle.
That's just rude.
Uh,
Oh god, please don't listen a lung right now. Of all times.
I'm dying.
Does Bryce Bronson usually read the correspondence? No?
He's the
Is he
one who
checking for
usually
poison?
delivers it for him.
I told you that guy was a fucking piece of shit.
Well, somebody's gotta screen the king's mail. It could have a magical spell activated on it. Like a glyph of
That's
warding.
true.
Have you ever fallen for a glyph of warding scam? You open up a letter and suddenly a fireball's in your face.
No, I can't say I've fallen for that one. Argyle, I gotta be honest, I feel like you would have been better for the job. Between you and Bryce Bronson, I think one of you was less important and could have
Well,
died.
at one point, I got to the point of my hit points where I'd instantly die if it triggered at the most minimum damage roll.
I don't know where these words are coming from. I've never heard them before.
I have 2 health. He tells you very meta. Nice.
On a scale of 1 to 2, what are you currently feeling?
Yes.
Solid.
Let's go on
I guess that's the
campaign.
best we can hope for. I'm excited to go on. Hey, do you happen to know where our grandfather last was?
Swan?
Oh, that grandfather.
What do you mean, our grandfather, Yonsei?
I think he's in that case, it would literally be my grandfather because we are cousins.
Yeah.
I think
the
we're
prince and I.
cousins. We're cousins via my mother, right? Like
Yeah,
that
so
side of the family.
your grandfather would be my grandfather
So
on your mom's side.
The on our mom's side, so the king of Zuan, but the warmonger dead in the lower Alferos is not related to you. Does that make sense?
This
Is
does
it
make
there-
sense. I was trying to specify which grandfather he was talking about, and he showed
You did a
me
good
which
job
grand-
of that.
Thank you,
okay.
thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was doing that very well, and then you explained my own.
Sorry,
Guys.
I didn't understand what you were doing. That's my fault.
Linus, Argyle said that there was war in your blood? Is that true?
Well,
Like,
it doesn't seem to
extractable?
be, unless you wish to extract war from my blood. I think that I would like to keep my blood in my body if possible. The last time my body had some blood taken out of it, I got this nasty scar and a lot of like hair. Anyway, the
Just
war
like
he's speaking
90%
of.
more hair on your arm than on your head.
Yeah, there's just way more hair than everywhere else. Yeah.
Yes, a gift
Speaking of
from the
which,
bear
how far
mother.
away are we from a full moon again?
A little while.
I don't know. I explained the history of my grandfather's war campaigns, and then I tell him, as far as we know, my father is the opposite of that. Though I have had some concerns over his intentions in recent years. Argyle's words concern me, but his stupor makes it hard to extract much more information.
I've never been more clear-headed in the past 20 years. I
That's
knew fresh
concerning.
air would be
That's-
good for me.
I did as well.
Argyle's the most trustworthy man in this camp.
And you guys
I will-
flee from him as he rides off into the distance. I'm moving us forward. You guys can continue to converse, but on horseback, please. As John calculates.
So, in theory, just speculation. If there were to be pure war inside of your blood, and we extract it, that's just war essence.
I don't know what that is. If this is something you know of clerical ways, you would know much more about it than I. I am not trained in the essences or humors of the
It's
body.
a concept from someone. This is wild, Dizem.
Have you ever heard of miasma?
Your asthma?
My
I
ass.
think
mean,
that's a chest congestion. Isn't
Real.
Yeah,
it?
exactly. I think
Interesting.
steam, like water vapors, help clear that up.
No,
Yeah,
not
yeah.
asthma. My asthma.
Right.
One
Yes.
word.
Yes.
I didn't
No.
know that you had
Yeah.
asthma,
No.
but
I don't have asthma.
should you be out in
Or
the grasses? It could
Yeah.
flare up at any
I'm
time.
fine. I don't have asthma. One word.
This just
Such-
goes on for
Nothing.
days. You guys travel a casual 110 miles in 2 days, hopping along, eventually getting to Livistone, which is how I'm now going to choose to pronounce it, because that seems fun. Crossing by little hamlets, little villages, and farming communities, you will find the Band of the Horn, or the Horny Band, 4, in parenthesis, who are on
You really should come up with a better name.
No, this is good.
You don't like
Okay,
Band of the
okay.
Horn?
Band of the Horn is better than the Horny Band, for sure.
Only one of us has horns.
Band of the Horn.
None of us have horns anymore.
None of us have horns.
Our horny
anymore.
boy left.
But one of us is horny.
Cool it or Salde. No, okay. You head on over to the camp where your people are killing bullywogs on campaign. Or mini-campaign training, effectively. Doing what is essentially swamp incursions into a big old bayou to cull some monsters. This is not what I wanted. I want...
Oh, I have an idea. My gosh.
Is your idea to recruit some bullywugs?
No.
Okay, we're on different plans right now. Just wanted to check.
As you make it to the band, you can see that they are, like, packing up. Tents are being rolled up. Excuse me. You can see smoke signals in the distance far to the north where your city is. In retrospect, you could imagine that it would have been a much shorter trip if you did not get on horseback, but instead got a boat to come down here and sort of let you off.
Isn't the river flooded to the extent it's not traversable?
You're on the northern section, not the southern section, where that is the case. The great big river to the south.
Well, I got
Tenebrae.
yelled at for this, like, eastern part anyway. Sorry.
Fair.
Dad was exaggerating, is what I'm saying.
Dad is an exaggerating bastard, for sure. Such a drama king. Get it? I'll see you guys next week. You make it there. You can see that the son of Sigus, also called Sunny, seems to have, like, awkwardly made his own little camping area, and it is just littered with bullywogs. He has brought back full-blown, like, beasts, or these monstrous, like, small-sized humanoids who... You don't know what he's planning to do with the body, but there is some kind of murderous ritual that he is doing, collecting these.
Oh, they're dead.
Oh yeah, they're super dead. You speak with the mercenary lieutenant, Glynis, of the Longbowmen you recruited, what feels like years ago. And he gives you a big ol' salute and says, "Hail, your highness. Have you come to join us?"
I have. It seems that you may already be aware, but there's the belief that war is imminent.
It's
we
not
have to be
imminent,
prepared
your
to
highness.
join
It is here. Your city was attacked last night.
Then it is time to make way.
I agree.
I thought sooner.
Do we go to Lorna, where the Countess is? Or do we join up with any other larger marshalling occurring? Or do we act as our own independent force?
We've been asked to act as our own force, it seems, by my father. So discretion is ours.
I see. then I will quickly give you the rundown. And he gestures to like a small riverboat that is currently just sort of pulled onto the shore. This is one of our scouts, I suppose we'll call them, from your city itself. He will explain the situation in meta terms, so that I don't need to do this in character anymore.
Very good.
You will hear... let me bring some tokens onto the map, and I will drag you guys to them. That didn't work.
Lorna.
Come here.
He wanted to go to Lorna.
Yeah, so he wants to...
Far away.
It is far away.
Well, that's like the easy route of this country straight through the woods.
The purpose of the fighting force up here was so that we were close enough to be ready to like fight. I don't think I want to backtrack to mommy and say, please guide me.
You will hear that your podunk fleet is what your father called it. Here, I'll show you guys so that you know that the nameplates aren't lying. It says Prince Marchette's podunk fleet, and in parentheses, 2. Put up a surprising resistance that nobody expected. They actually managed to sink a single ship.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, hell yeah. I mean, it was only one. But these ships, he will tell you, are much different than what anyone assumed Niord had. These are Boolean battle barges that they somehow made on their own or had shipped to them somehow, which they crafted and deployed. They are effectively like battering rams, but rather than just ramming ships, they are designed to lower gangplanks with like great big hooks, slam into the decks of smaller ships, and then just flood them with boarders, or raiders in this case. Your big river barge, which you plan to act as like a fighting platform, got absolutely overrun immediately, but the small riverboats actually put up a somewhat stiff resistance and just like outswam the larger boats and just shot them with crossbow bolts until they ran out of ammunition, and then fled into the woods. And that's where tragedy struck, because the woods themselves were invaded with a massive army of Neordian raiders, levies, and what they call New Bloods, as well as Emil Hammer. So effectively, boats attacked here, each other. I don't know if you can see this. I'm on the GM layer, that's why you can't see this. Perfect. Boats engaged in this area. When you guys ran out of ammunition, they docked here and were like, alright, now we'll go inland. And they just ran straight into a raiding detachment and got absolutely crushed. It wasn't even close. After all, they did not have melee weapons at all, and they had no armor to resist any melee weapon. And they just kind of got slaughtered. In theory, there are 400 other volunteers who just could not find space on boats to die in that forest, so maybe if you get past that battle line, they might be able to do something, question mark? That happened on the 11th, this is the 13th? No. Excuse me. This is the 14th, so that happened 3 days ago. In the time since, Neordians seem to have regrouped, and then after regathering some men from the forest itself, this naval detachment quite literally just unloaded all of their men inside a small wooden dock under nightfall and attacked the poorer district and northern district, setting a quarter of the city on fire. Militia units tried to respond, but they did not do well against the surprise attack. You're unsure what the current state of the city is, due to the fact that the messenger that came here to alert your band specifically, that was the last thing he heard. So it seems like elements of Niord are actively in your city right now.
I think that I have to trust my father's preparations inside the city. A small boarding ship like them could not take it all. The main host seems to be the larger threat, in my estimation. The advantage we have is we know those woods, and I look to them quite well, as I'm sure he nods along. We are small but elite force with an advantage in range. I suggest we harry them, pick them off, flee back into the woods to return to fight again.
Isn't that where all the fucking bears hang out?
Yes.
Well, mostly further north, but yes, there are bears there. This isn't the completely bear-infested woods. This is the partially bear-infested woods.
Can we make it more bear-infested?
It's a good ask.
Your Highness, if you wish to... They are already in the foothills, and we are over 100 miles away from the bridge into the main city. We could join a greater group, or we could try to find boats back into the city to potentially race and be effective there. But we are just too far away from the main incursion, it appears.
It is frustrating my father had us sent this far away. I wish that I could have kept us where we were.
This is... If you don't mind me interrupting, my prince, but this is not a terrible position to be put in. Siege warfare takes quite a lot of time, and to effectively siege, you have to spread your forces thin in every possible area so that they cannot get supplies in. If we were to join up with a bigger force, we would be meeting a force who is prepared for a siege and not to be re-surrounded by another force. If that is their goal, to take the capital.
Isn't this as well? Was this your sister's lands? The place where we had sent...
they're getting close to them, right? The area that's cleared, that's where the sisters' lands are.
This area, and this is the area where we sent a bunch of monster hunters, right?
That's where you
initially
set
right
up,
here.
But then the king told you to go hunt monsters elsewhere.
Yeah. The king sent us farther away, basically.
Yep.
I wish that I knew the king's plans, but... Alright, so
the monster hunters that were here are no longer there?
We're with them right now.
You are with them right
gotcha.
now?
I understand now.
I actually have numbers of the total force that you guys currently have made of the Band of the Horn. You have 20 longbowmen, you have the champion known as the Son of Sigus, you have your currently unnamed veteran mercenary lieutenant, and you have 100 adventurer mercenaries.
So, on a meta level, this is what I think. We could join with the forces of Eileen if we wanted to, and hold that. I assume they're gonna just fucking storm this area. But if they're sieging the castle, our band really can't do anything other than man the walls and shoot bows, I guess. But if we're outside, I guess if we need to join a siege group, Eileen makes a lot of sense. We could return to Lorna and then try to this is my idea. Okay, so they're gonna march essentially this way, right? And they're gonna try to attack this, or they're gonna attack this. We could reinforce with our 100 infantry people and some 20 bowmen, but that's not really gonna make a difference in a siege, right? But this host here is gonna get in this area. If we were to harry them, right, in the woods, if we were in these, and then we attacked their backside, and we harried them, and if they spread out, we attack them, and we come back in the woods. We become the guerrilla fighters that slowly injure this host, right? and we are not the main defense of any of these places. They still have to deal with the military encampments that my father has created, and we hurt them slowly from behind, type of thing. The other idea is actually one he suggested that I'm realizing now. If we went to Lorna with Muscle Mommy, we could just march up this road and try to like smash them between the river and ourselves. But I don't know if our host is large enough, even if we go with her to do that.
I think it would also take too long.
It would take a while. Yeah,
they're so much closer to here than we are to anywhere else right now.
I agree. So I think if we marched into Aelian, we could like hold this if needed, and then also our group could act independently of the military encampment there. Let the grave robber do his shit, and we could harry them. Like we could take down their scouts. We can hit them in the back, right? We are mobile and smaller, and we can hit them like that and disappear.
I have an idea. What if we did fuck the bridge 2, electric boogaloo, and took out this bridge this time? And while that does make the castle essentially isolated from the ground troops, it does prevent the New York ground troops from getting to the castle while we take care of them.
To be honest, I think that if the king wants that done, he could get it done.
But I think right now the king had a plan for the castle.
Yeah, I don't know.
He has a whole courtier of very smart people who were not incompetent before.
I don't know. Blowing up the bridge could work, I guess. How would we?
I'm a big fan of blowing up bridges.
How would we blow up the bridge? Is it feasible? Is that energy worth expending when we could join the fight other ways? These are questions I have that I don't know the answer to.
These are great questions. I have a shatter. I have a couple shatters.
For Aelian, it's the start of spring, so there's no crops, right? That's what I'm thinking.
You can plant wheat in winter, or at least the later edge of winter, to get an early spring crop. Not that they're doing that, but there are a lot of vegetables that can still grow even in the cold.
What I'm thinking is, if there is crops currently growing, we have to scorch earth that, because they're gonna get their hands on that, and that's bad for us.
I'm not burning my city's crops. We can have a different plan. These are the things my people need.
If they take that city,
Lieutenant,
please, somebody with
here.
like a real military background, like chime in.
Apologies, Your Highness. I understand that this is a heavy decision you must make, but there is another opportunity before you that I feel you should be aware of. There are militia units scattered out in the countryside. If numbers are your concern, you can call more of these militia units to rouse and raise and defend the mainland, as it were. Or the heartland, I should say, excuse me.
So, not to impugn your ladyship, but was that not her calling for our deal? I would hope that these have been raised.
But places like Icon, which would not answer such summons or calls, you now have direct proof we are invaded, as we are being invaded.
Which places have not been rallied? Which ones can I get that we couldn't before?
Icon has a notorious, I don't want to call it renegade or anti-authoritarian streak, but they have a heavy horsemanship tradition, I suppose, which allows them to have certain privileges as the most cavalry-centric city or town of your country. They
Cavalry
outright
makes us more mobile.
Yes. They outright refuse to even listen to my ladyship, as you called her, the Countess.
They
it's
are
for-
the
Sorry.
are they the only ones?
No. Marchione, the city that was named after your family, also refused, saying that they did not care and had bigger things to fry, and honestly sort of snubbed the lady Mallet.
Well, okay, two thoughts. Just not in role playing. So, I think it would be maybe a good idea to hit Icon, since they're kind of like on the way, right? We go back to the road. They're like literally right there, right? We get them. If we rally them, we get horses. We're even more mobile than we were before. And then we can have the same type of plan, either to reinforce somebody or go hit them from the back, maybe blow up a bridge while we're doing stuff. But that's pretty close. Going all the way from there to Marchione, which, like, as the crow flies, is 170 miles, right? Is maybe a boon to our numbers, but we would be very late to the party, right? So in this universe, we're gathering troops from Icon, maybe gathering troops from Tosh, we're gathering troops from Marchione. We leave Jacobus at Fort Ostone, where he is at, because he's there to fight the Divinus Paladins if they pincer us. And then we march back up to Lorna to meet up with Tafina. And then we try to scissor them from behind, right, with a full host, like, but way late in the fighting. And that seems...
So
I don't think that's the path that makes the most sense to me, but
so
I don't know.
I would like to propose one other option. We have a few horses. We don't need the whole host to go gather cavalrymen from each end, right? We can send a handful of horses to go grab cavalry and catch up on the road. We don't need to send the whole host.
Sure, I like that too, right? Get the host marching where we want it, and then, like, I and a small group go get reinforcements and then meet back up. I think that's chilling. I still think that makes Marchione very far away, even with that plan, right? So I don't know. I don't want to tell you guys this is what I'm doing, right? This is like a huge moment in the campaign. I want you guys to, like, be interested in it. My thought, just in my brain, is we have a small but elite group that knows, like, the woods really well, and we can get cavalry, which makes us faster and more mobile, even, like, harrying the main host from behind, trying to kill as much of it as we can to, like, slow them down while reinforcing whatever major battle seems like. If Alian is just crumbling, right, we can reinforce that. But I don't think that taking our small band into the city is going to change much, right? I think we can do more good harassing, or maybe sabotaging a bridge. I'm not 100% sold on that, but it's an idea that could definitely that could change it for sure. Like, it's a good idea. It's better than, I mean, once again, blowing up this bridge worked wonders. Maybe we're just the bridge crew. But I don't know. That's my idea. Is leave Marchione alone, gather Ichin's men, and be the harassers.
Yeah.
Does that sound good, or are we more interested in a different approach?
Could we send a quick person here? Send some more people here. Tiosh?
Oh, okay, yeah.
This group of people that we gather comes up through these hills up here. And while that is happening, another group of us goes through Livistone and What is this place called again? I cannot read these names.
Eileen, I believe.
Eileen.
Yes.
They just blend into the background too much.
They
and
do.
Eileen. And then we have a force here, and then a force here protecting the bridge while they come this way. Because they no longer have boats, is the information, right? They've sent their boats off this way.
Yeah, the main host doesn't appear to have boats at the moment.
This
So they are
information, I
landlocked
will
for all intents and purposes.
remind you all, is less than 24 hours old and may be
Yeah.
inaccurate. You're unsure if this is
Yeah.
the legit
Well, I
spacing
mean-
of where they are.
Yeah.
Even if it's not the
Yeah,
legit
they could,
spacing, right?
they could be here at this point, you know.
Right.
In which case, the best thing for us is to gather troops up here through the hills and try and catch them right here off guard as we're coming off the main roads.
All right.
Okay.
I dig that.
Our roads are not great. That both works to our disadvantage and to our favor because it means they're also not going to be moving very quickly.
Yeah. Well, I mean, they're not using roads, so we might even have an
I-
advantage. Shitty roads are still probably better than no roads, right?
Yeah.
Much better.
I'm down with that. Does that sound good to everybody else?
Sure.
So, what I basically am going to tell this guy is like, you've been in charge up till now. This is my plan, and I'm gonna send the band, the band of the Horn, through Livistone and to Eileen to like gather men, bolster our defenses. Right. I am gonna ride to Icon since you probably need royalty to gather them,
Yes.
right? I don't think I can just send a raven or something, right?
No.
Who's the best rider among us? Is it you, Yancey? You're also like tangentially royal. Maybe I send so like Yancey goes to Tosh, who supposedly is probably less snooty than Aichin, is what it sounded like to me.
Yeah,
or
Tiosh
maybe-
probably also has less people potentially.
Tiosh.
So we send
The downside of Tiosh, in specifically, is it has a
Tiosh.
much smaller population than Icon. They are relatively new, having sprung up essentially around an old mining settlement, just a little bit downhill, and then where crops could more easily grow. So there just might not be that many like volunteers or people ready to throw down right now. That would be the main
Okay.
downside.
Maybe not then.
so no on Tiosh.
Maybe they get a raven or something.
Sure. Okay. So we quickly pen a raven to fly to Tiosh, requesting them to meet our forces, probably in Eileen, just because I can't guarantee a meeting place of Icon's troops in this area, right?
Okay.
There's no like, meet me at the southern hills. So we pen a raven. I ride to Aichin to gather the cavalry. We then kind of circle back through the hills like was suggested. Eventually, if we need to reinforce Eileen, then we will. If not, we're going to pull the band to us, and then we have a cavalry plus elite archers mercenary crew to harry and smash the back of this group while we wait. We are buying time. We're slowing them down. We're bleeding them. We're making them spend resources. We're protecting what needs to be protected, and we're making time for Lorna's host to help us like smash them in the back. Does it
Okay.
seem like a plan?
The only thing I worry about is if time is of the essence and we're taking a whole bunch of horses through woods rather than on roads, we're costing ourselves a lot.
So we can go 110 miles with horses through the woods, or we can go like
Well, there's a road up there.
205 miles through the roads, right?
I think what Ursula is trying to get at is that's not just woods, like that's foothills, that's big, difficult terrain that horses
So
might not.
we circle 205 miles around with the horses because that's ostensibly faster. Either way, we take horses and we get them where we want
I
to go.
don't know if
Sound good?
you intentionally, but the current red line, whoever has this pink line, has the correct road. It would be 140 miles to the bridge, and
Okay.
110-ish to Eileen.
Excellent, right? That's a logistical like nuance, right? Like that's. I'm trying to sketch out big picture and like the logistical nuance. I'm chill with. We can make that change, right? I'm not married to the lines I drew. I'm just trying to like get the idea of like what we're doing, right? So we're getting horses and we're taking them to meet up with our gang.
Mhm.
So here, going through the valley is too much, essentially.
I don't know, but it sounds like maybe. So whichever
Okay.
way works better, right?
Yeah, so we want to get there fast, I think, is the idea with it.
Yeah.
Yeah. And the advantage of coming from this way is that we get them from the back, and they wouldn't have expected us.
Agreed.
All right, so I am keeping track of your orders, your ORDERs, if you will.
Uh-huh.
You are sending the Band of the Horn through Livistio to Eileen to support them, is what I have heard. That means that they will still have autonomy of their own unit and will not join that force and will make their own decisions of when to engage until you retake command. It is still currently in command of the unnamed lieutenant who is... I forgot this, but...
Did we not name him?
He has no name. This is not a veteran mercenary lieutenant, though. I just checked my notes in my little tooltip thing. This is one of the longbowmen that Jacobus gave you from Fort O'Stone. So I was treating him like he was a foreigner. He is actually a full-blown national of Livistio and is 100% committed to the cause, which a mercenary might not be. The composition is still mostly adventurers from Tafina, however. It is just led by the core of the 20 longbowmen. Sunny is also included in that picture. I have not forgotten Sunny.
I want Sunny to get into the fighting as soon as possible because it seems like that's what he wants. Or I guess I'll ask him what he... We're going to ask Sunny if he wants to ride to Icon and, like, talk to people, or if he wants to, like, march with the band and maybe fight some people. And then let him choose.
He whispers quietly in your ears. I have not finished the bullywogs. Am I supposed to stop killing them now?
Yes.
Okay. Who am I supposed to kill?
There will be time to return to this task. The Neords.
I will need help pointing them out.
Do you have a friend here in camp?
No. I have been following them, and I have been avoiding them because they smell really bad.
Good stuff. The soldiers wear sigils.
I don't know. I don't know what the Neordi army does.
Do our soldiers wear sigils?
They normally wear tabards or surcoats to help identify who's who. The main motif is usually blue. If you're wearing blue, chances are you're part of the Livistian army.
I see your plan here, and the one thing I'm scared of is being like, kill anybody that's not wearing the blue stuff, and then suddenly the city of Eileen is just like
covered in
full
red.
of dead civilians, right? Like the gravekeeper is working triple time.
You know, you've killed Neords before, Sonny.
When?
Is that not who he killed? He killed a bunch of Neordians?
The people who attacked the village.
They are dead, yes.
Yeah. So those were Neordians.
Oh.
Did they wear? Do you remember what they wore? What they were wearing? Any special colors or?
They liked the color
pictures?
orange.
They did like the color orange.
Yes.
Did they have any pictures on their clothes of things?
I don't remember, but maybe. One of them did, certainly.
Does Snefru have the spell Magic Mouth?
I don't think so.
Possibly.
I just don't think you can send Sunny on his own. You might be able to send him with like some other people, and then they can point where he should go attack, and then they can send him off. But so long as they're not within eyesight, I'm concerned.
Yeah.
Snefru.
I don't want to say go attack someone in orange.
I don't
does
either.
not
Yeah.
A guy that has
magic
like
mouth.
red hair gets killed or something.
We have two options as I see it. Either we assign him someone that will give him orders and hope that they can give orders that make sense and are direct and accurate, or we take him with us because we believe we can do such better.
Oh, I agree. Well, let's talk about Magic Mouth here, because it actually solves our problems if we can cast it.
He does
it
not
exist?
have magic mouth.
Okay, and no one in this camp's a wizard or anything. We don't have like a rogue spellcaster with a random chance at this. Okay, good. Then I agree. Then I think what we do is we used to have a veteran Boolean mercenary that was assigned by Tafina Malo. But if he's gone now, then I'm gonna ask the guy in charge, our nameless lieutenant, for one of his like trusted spotters, like a scout, and then I'm gonna assign the scout to Sunny, and I'm gonna introduce them, tell them, this is the deal. I'm gonna tell him when it's time to fight, you tell Sunny who to kill specifically, and you're the one in charge of pointing. I tell him basically like you have the equivalent of a wizard's fireball here. Point it where you want it to go, and make sure it doesn't miss.
That's a lot of responsibility for a 17-year-old, sir. Are you sure you want me to do it?
I am. The
For
young
king and
are
country.
Exactly.
All right, excellent. For king and country, sir.
As John laughs very sadly at the fact that a 17-year-old has access to a fireball, or what is equivalent of an ATA-4 rocket launcher, you guys will stop here for the night, as we have hit our
This is gonna go great.
If in the next week Sneffer might add something, maybe even in the chat after watching the VOD, and if we need to change orders for whatever reason, we can do so at the start of next session. I will
do.
Yeah, what's up?
I want to do a quick thing at the river before we close off, because I will forget. I am not feeling well enough that I'm certain I will remember.
The spotlight moves to Glynis as he goes to the river.
All right. Glynis walks to the river, and he takes his furry bear arm that's all scarred and knotted and shitty, and he is gonna take the edge of his longsword, make a little small cut on his knotty scarred arm, so that it draws blood, and he places it in the waters so that the blood mixes in there, hopefully like a smell. He's gonna focus all of his key points and drain every last one and put them into the river. And I am going to try to commune with the bear mother, whose magic runs through the waters, and I know to be at least a little bit awake. And I envision the rusty blade that I dreamed about while high on ayahuasca with Corin. And I envision it lifting up from the muddy banks of the southern Tenebrae and flowing upriver to me. And I try to draw that blade through the waters if possible.
Give me
Fucking
one moment.
King Arthur shit right here.
I want you to roll me a 1d100 for me, Mr. Marcia.
I can absolutely do that.
When gods are involved, the d100 comes out to play.
There's a 54.
A 54. Our prince focuses hard upon the water. He channels all of his internal magic to it, and envisions, truly, as though it were right in front of you, buried somewhere in the waters of the Tenebrae, in the muck and the mire, the sword shifting ever so slightly towards what has to be your direction. But as it does so, your vision morphs, and for the briefest of moments, your bloodied hand feels like it is being grabbed onto by a pungent skeletal wrist, or a limb, I suppose, that begins to try to drag you down for but a moment before you break free. And we will end on the thought that something else may lay claim to that sword, or still lay claim to that sword.
Your
Very well.
grandpa's ghost.
Guys!
Maybe.
We will end our session there. We will do a very quick experience gain calculation. Likely not getting much, but we did have some roleplay development specifically about your mother. Please go around the table and say nice things. Let us start by complimenting Dizem, I feel. We started with Yonsei in the beginning. Any points for Dizem, you think, Red?
I don't think this session. I'm setting myself up to be able to do more things in the future. But not yet.
Okay. I agree. You did do some plotting. You have discovered potentially a new, maybe undiscovered, form of necromancy, even, we might call it. Not necromancy as making the dead dance or anything like that, or summoning skeletons, but getting more use out of the parts of humanoids that they might not know they intrinsically have.
So,
after all,
really quick,
Dizem.
if I might make an argument, like, setting yourself up for future advancements is exactly ambition, right? Like, that feels pretty spot on.
That is true, but it's not ambition yet. I haven't actually done the thing that would make it ambitious.
I think
Okay.
what he's saying is
Like once I
the inkling in your mind.
Yeah,
get like the ingredients in my hands to do the action I want to commit, that's ambitious. But right now I have the steps to be ambitious that I haven't taken just yet.
I like where you're at, Red. I'm gonna say don't take a point. It looks like you're setting some dominoes up right now, but your hand is not yet ready to push them down. Not enough things have come into line yet. But I like where you're taking Dizem. I really do. I want to pontificate about it a little more. That Dizem does not view humanoids as intrinsically different from, like, animals or anything like that. I really find that the interesting dynamic of, like, I am a stranger in a strange land, but you're all beasts, and so am I, is both incredibly humbling and also, horrifying in a weird way. It's dehumanizing, I suppose, which is interesting, in my opinion. Let us move to... We'll do this out of reverse order. We'll do Ursale. Ursale, do you get anything?
No, I don't think so. I don't think any of the 4 traits that we've really fit what I've been doing this episode.
You gave me money. That's pretty cool. That's loyalty.
1 point in charity.
Parody.
Any opinions on, Ursale, fellas?
I don't remember what Ursale did during the session. He talked to Yonsei about getting yoked. He gave money to Dizem.
He helped search for the pot in the woods.
Searched for the pot by running into the woods.
I asked him if you could talk to the dead.
He
claimed
said
he
he could
could.
talk at a corpse.
He, along with the rest of
Very,
you,
very
accused me of having
selfless.
asthma.
This session.
I mean, I've brought up basic things about our planning. I mean, I didn't. Yeah, I mean, there's not really that much.
Revealed my personal logistical errors out of character. I don't know. I would be happy to hear you argue for something, but I can't think of anything off the top of my head.
Okay.
I'm also
Going into
sick.
war, you guys. There's plenty of time for it.
There's
Yeah.
plenty of time, guys. I agree. My mouse cursor disappeared. What about you, Glynis? What do you get, if anything? You've done your own little setup here, and now find that you may be in contest for that family heirloom with a skeleton.
Yeah, I mean that was
spirit.
just a like fever dream Hail Mary, just because I thought, oh shit, I am at the river where the magic is going. So, I don't think that has much in play. If anything, although this might have been out of character, so it probably might not count. But I would argue, if anything, I would gain honor for outright refusing to burn my city's crops. But that
Just a common war tactic, man. That's how the Russians
Yeah.
survived.
and
That's how a lot of countries survive.
What's Russia?
We're
I
Russia.
think
The
that
Bear
may have been like an out of character like discussion of tactics, so that might not
Yeah.
count.
You listened to your dad, despite
Yeah.
your wishes. So I think that gets you something. I'm sure if it was up to you, you would have stayed in the castle and fought.
Well, he did offer that he could stay in the castle.
I think if it was up to me, I wouldn't have moved my troops out of the sisters' land, right? That's where I wanted them. That's where
Yeah.
I thought they should be. And like
Mhm.
I let him push me all the way out here where we're so far away from everything.
So far.
Trying to protect you.
But I do think with the huge force of a surprise attack, we would have been crushed.
Maybe.
Let us not debate about the tactics that have been already made. Decisions can't be undone. We cannot retcon sessions ago. Glynis, I don't think refusing to burn your own crops is in a thought idea is truly honorable, but if, like, Dizem had the torch out ready to rock and roll and then you refused it, that would be honorable.
Sure, understood. It just, if there was anything at all worthy of a point, that would have been the only thing that comes to mind.
Lots of heavy roleplay this session, but now we jump to Yancey. Yancey, you stole papers from the king and performed espionage on behalf
I did not
of
steal
yourself?
papers. I wrote down notes in a book that is of my ownership, and I'm of royal blood, so does it matter?
Yes.
Is it espionage? If I plan to not do anything with it. I did that for Glynis, so I would like to argue a point of loyalty. Or perhaps lose a point of honor, who's to say?
I think it should be 3 different changes in points.
Oh,
I think it should
okay.
be a point in loyalty for like telling me that you committed treason, right?
Uh-huh.
I think it should be a minus point in honor for committing treason.
Back
And I
to
think it
one,
should
back
be-
to one.
And I think it should be a point in ambition for taking the initiative to like get game-changing potentially info for the war effort.
Yeah, because frankly, if your dad dies and you don't know this stuff.
Alternatively, you could say that you have a minus point in servility instead of honor because you just like do not give a shit about the like chain of command or authority structure and buck it
Absolutely
all the
not,
time. Right? So like minus servility instead of minus honor is also like a reasonable, but I think one of those should go down
I
while
feel
the
like
other should go up.
yeah, I agree that something should go down. I feel like my honor goes down frequently, which I always kind of disagree with because I don't feel like Beyonce does not feel the shame to be honorable. Like they don't feel the need to like pay attention to the rules of engagement or whatever or like decorum, you know? So how can you be honorable if you don't care in the first place?
Well, this is how
Servility,
other people
however,
view you, right?
this is true. Servility, this was directly like I was, yeah, absolutely not being a servant to the king. Like this was this was me doing something for you and for me, and this was not had nothing to do with, you know, being the like fuck my uncle. You know, I don't care.
Definitely ambition for sure. Whatever happens, that goes up. Committing treason is always an ambitious play. Let's look at Benedict Arnold, for instance.
Didn't work out.
It didn't work out. It worked out for Yonsei. That's what's important.
That is what's important. Thank
for
you.
now. And you know, if Glynis ever needs to execute you, he has straight up confirmation you're a traitor.
It's all right. We know so much about each other now. We could
It's
execute
true.
each other, arguably.
Dude, okay, I now have a like concerning thought. Do I gain a point in tyranny for knowingly allowing my men to commit treason?
Oh damn.
You know,
Probably.
Is it a
Let it slide.
reputation? Is
You
it a
did
reputation?
also try to peek at the map.
Is it a reputation increase only if someone finds out my men committed treason, or is the fact that it happened even clandestinely enough to make it go up?
if it gets found out, definitely a point up.
I mean, Yonsei doesn't think it was treasonous. Yonsei just suck cuz.
I think it does change Glynis's attitude of how he kind of views the world. Maybe it'll go down for another thing, but yeah, not sending, but condoning that your cousin is allowed to enter the king's chambers willy-nilly and just look at stuff is a big no-no, and very clear, like, slap in the face of feudalism in general, honestly.
So -1 to servility is what I'm hearing. Okay.
Yeah, and I'll leave it in your capable hands. Here, Mr. Greg. Does Glynis gain a point in tyranny?
I went ahead and put it in, so
Okay.
yes, I guess.
All right. I'm okay with just the one up in ambition. I don't think there needs to be anything else in loyalty.
Yeah, I'm not
Okay.
too concerned about that just yet.
I
Yonsei's
think
loyalties
openly
are
admitting
still-
treason to the
Yeah.
crown prince is fairly beneficial to loyalty, but if you don't
Okay,
want
alright,
it, it's
alright,
not your.
alright,
You don't have to
yeah.
have it.
Yeah, again, I feel like when I look at these, I think about it from like Yonsei's perspective, and Yonsei is like, well, actually, no, I think that would be loyalty thing. And Yonsei's like, you're my bro. Like, of course, I'm gonna tell you that I committed treason. Like,
Come on.
What else?
All the cool kids.
who else
do
would
it.
I tell? Like, but my cousin, who also just so happens to be a crown prince, but that's not the important part.
Alrighty, I'm gonna call it here for tonight. You guys have been wonderful as always. Hopefully everyone will be here next time, and then we'll do some retroactive shopping for Snefru if he has anything to buy. And then have him give his opinion on what has transpired while he was T-posing. What's up, Corin?
I don't think he gave XP.
Oh! Please take home 450.
I also didn't realize I had leveled up while I was gone.
Yes, I add your experience to your total when you were not here. I don't...
I'll take care of that before next session.
You're good. I don't respect the DMs who say just because you're not here, you don't get experience. Those guys are. Come on, man.
I know
Don't
that you had
sandbag
experience
your
when
team.
when I'm gone. I just didn't realize it was enough experience to get me to level 5.
Ah. Well, there you go.
Which is nice.
You know, it's been fun. If you have any shout-outs, now is the time to shout them out.
Shout out to Comic-Con.
To Comic-Con, true.
I wasn't.
Or
It
Snapper.
was great, and also something caught on fire, so that's always fun.
What caught on fire? What the
You
hell?
know, if Snapper watches the whole VOD
a
and gets
building.
its exact moment.
California.
If Snapper
Same.
watches the whole VOD and gets his exact moment, shout out to Snapper for sticking it through.
Yeah. If only you were here, I feel like that
If he
would
sees this moment, shout out to him. If he doesn't, then he doesn't get it.
Yeah, dead to us. We know. Alright. Thank you all so much for watching. As always, have a lovely afternoon, evening, or night, wherever you are. And, don't die, as a certain prince said. Woo!